everyone, and happy Monday from the opening drive on 101 ESPN in St. Louis, where it's 7 o'clock. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Brooke Grimsley, Matthew Rocchio, Randy Karraker. Matthew's trying to mess with my camera. We're on the Air Alliance Team Studio Cam. If you want to go to the YouTube and just type in 101 ESPN STL, we are on camera. And Matthew was just messing with my camera.
I think
he says he's just getting it right.
Well, because right now I feel like I should pledge allegiance to your shirt right now.
I am going. Oh, you are. We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
But there's golf balls.
And tees.
Oh, I had to look a little bit closer because I thought when I walked in initially, I thought it was just an American flag shirt, and now I see the true beauty in this.
It's very artistic. My sister gave this to me for my birthday, and so I like this. And Brooke, I decided because we're only here for 3 days this week, today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, I'm going to wear a patriotic shirt every single day this week.
I need to work on this. I mean, I kind of did. Maybe if I wear red tomorrow and white on Wednesday, then I'm doing something here.
We're there.
But I feel like I have to step up after seeing your shirt today.
Oh, okay. I like that. So we can both be patriotic tomorrow.
Yes, 100%.
Good. We got to send Danny a text.
We do, so he can get coordinated with this.
I like this idea. Anyway, the Air Alliance Team Studio Cam is on the YouTube. Brooke, Matthew, and Randy. We have quite a show coming up for you. We're going to talk to Chip Carey, the TV voice of the Cardinals, and my buddy Ken Dubinsky. He's from Every True Tiger, and he knows everything there is to know about NIL and what's going on at Mizzou with their NIL, and evidently they're doing pretty darn well. They've got some new cookies out at Schnucks. For the 4th
What kind of
July.
cookies?
He's bringing them in. I think they're going to be some chocolate chip. So
Delicious.
Yeah, and Mizzou players will benefit from the sale of these cookies at Schnucks. So we're looking forward to that.
That's awesome. I love to see, Luther Burden, the amount of commercials and work that he's been doing.
Yep.
I think that that's one of the great stories of NIL, and I would love to talk to him about that today, of how he has seen it positively impact players' lives. Because, of course, we always see what grabs the headlines, Randy. It's the big, showy stories of, this player used NIL money to get this big thing, maybe like a car, different things like that, which they can do whatever they want with it. But I want to hear the stories about how this has just positively impacted and changed players' lives.
And truly benefited Mizzou, because under normal circumstances, Luther Burden would have left after a year or two. But the NIL, especially from his hometown, has been a big part of him staying for his entire Mizzou career at the University of Missouri.
Yeah, I love those chips that he has.
Yeah.
Have you had them yet?
I have, yeah. I am not a hot chip guy. I'm not even like a Doritos guy.
What?
I am so bland. Like, I like regular chips. I like regular potato chips. I love Pringles. I like Fritos, but I'm not a Doritos. I'm not a barbecue chip guy. I'm really, I'm just a flatliner when it comes to chips. I'm definitely not like the hot chip kind of guy.
So you just like the plain Lay's chips?
I do. And I like Ruffles with ridges if I have some of that Dean's French onion dip. That's pretty good. Yeah, I play it straight with chips. I really do.
No, I like anything. I love pickled chips. That's one of my favorites.
Are those
I'm a big pickle fan.
So I've heard that those are very popular.
Yes.
And are they kind of like salt and vinegar?
Yeah, a little bit, but they taste like pickles.
Okay.
So I think it's very fair to call them pickled chips. I find them to be delicious. Usually, if I go to Subway or some other sandwich shop, then I will get the pickle chips first. Then I've had spicy pickle chips.
Good.
And that's
okay.
really
I'll
good.
try them. I will not even try Flamin' Hot Cheetos. What about you guys?
Really?
I won't even try it.
You've never tried them?
Never tried it, no.
Why not?
Too flamin' hot.
I didn't know if it was all the red dye that was also scaring you off a little bit.
No, I just, and it's not like I don't like spicy food, because I do, but spicy chips just aren't for me.
I will say that, 1, they are very spicy. 2, you have to have a napkin nearby. Wet wipe, something like that, because you get it all over your fingers, and your fingers will be red.
What about when it's on your
I will
lips?
say yes. Yeah, exactly. We need to do a food draft this week, too.
We're going to. Yeah, we'll do that on Wednesday. We'll see if we can get it. We'll make Wednesday like lazy as can be. We'll get Amsinger, see if he can do Wednesday rather than Thursday. Matthew, any other lazy things we can do? Food draft's like as lazy as we can get. But anything else? Anything else that we can do?
That's the first time
you know what we'll do? We'll
I think that's the first time we've admitted on air that the drafts are a cop-out.
Yeah, they are.
No.
You know what? So,
Hey, I personally work really hard on those food drafts.
And you win. You win every time. We'll get our buddy Mike Johnson. We'll talk barbecue on Wednesday. So, yeah, we'll set that up. Cardinals with a split over the weekend. I was telling you guys that for those that are into the run differential, and I know you usually use run differential for a larger sample size than just a single 4-game series. But the Cardinals lost 11-4, so -7. Win 1-0, so you're -6. Lose 9-4, so you're -11. And then win 2-0. So you go 2-2 and you finish -9 in the run differential for the 4-game series. And the Cardinals still remain 6.5 behind red-hot Milwaukee in the National League Central. But, man, Lance Lynn looked great yesterday.
He really did. I don't know how the Brewers, honestly, though, are still pulling this off. You talked about this last week about, as an organization, just how sound they must be, because the amount of injuries that they've had, especially to their starting pitching, I don't know how they're able to sustain this, where they've been able to maintain the division lead.
I figured when they traded Corbin Burns, they were dead meat, right?
Yeah.
And then Woodruff is out for the year. So Freddie Peralta, who pitched yesterday,
Fred
was
Counsell
great.
gone.
Yeah, they've been getting really good work, but they've just got a system there, Brooke. I think that they've got a plan, and it's kind of like the old Cardinal way, where there was just a way for them to play ball, and they do it, and it doesn't matter who the manager is, and it didn't when the Cardinals had the organization that they had in the past. When Mike Schilt and Ollie were in the minors, and whether it was Tony or Mike Matheny up here, there was a way to play ball for the Cardinals. And I think that's just changed now through attrition, through people retiring, people getting fired, people getting promoted. It used to be that Pop Warner was the AAA manager. AA manager was Schilt. I think in A ball, high A was Ollie, and then low ball was, I think, Dan Billardello. And they had good, experienced coaches. And now I don't even know who the minor league coach is. I mean,
there's Ben Johnson.
Yeah, right. He's been in AAA for a while, right? But they have had a group of people that were there for a long time, and there was an established way to go about developing a Cardinal player, and I think Milwaukee has adopted that. So, and David Stearns leaves for the Mets. They've just got a really good, solid organization.
Streamlined communication.
Yeah, that helps too.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Having the manager, whether it's Counsell or Pat Murphy, say, okay, this is the way we're going to play ball. Tell all the minor league people so that he knows exactly what he's getting when he gets to the major league level, when a player gets to the major league level.
So going back to run differential, because I do think that is really important. I know you asked Greg Amsinger last week about it, and he kind of brushed it off a little bit. But I think when we're looking at something, okay, what could possibly go wrong with this Cardinals team right now? Because you do have to give them credit. They go 7-3 on this homestand, but with what you're pointing out, that is a big glaring issue. What can they even do about that at this point? And how does that compare, I wonder, to past years and seasons?
Well, the thing is occasionally, and it happened twice in a 4-game series where you got blown out, where you didn't have a chance to win the game. I think that's where run differential really comes in. If your run differential is pretty close to even, I think you're all right. But the Cardinals, I looked it up last week because BK and Ferrario were talking about the -30, and the Cardinals had 3 games in April and 1 in early May. They were -31 at that time. And they had 4 games at the beginning of the season where they were combined -32. So you take those 4 games and you say, okay, turn those into 2-1 games. Then all of a sudden that -31 turns into a -3. So I think that's part of it, is especially with the 5th starter, as troublesome as that has been for the Cardinals. And then the other part of it is they don't blow anybody out. The offense isn't good enough, or I won't say not good enough. They don't have the propensity to blow other teams out.
The consistency, I think, is the big factor there. I mean, I think the Red Series is a big example of what you're talking about. You saw everything with this Red Series. You have where they were able to shut them out twice, but it was just barely. And then you have that 11-4 blowout with Miles Michaelis. And then you had this weekend 9-4 with Sonny Gray, which that concerned me a little bit. I don't know if you're just going to kind of get these games with him every once in a while, but it did worry me a little bit seeing that.
Yeah, I think that's a legitimate concern now. And look, I think that last year was the outlier for Sonny Gray. And not that he hasn't pitched really well this year, but the big thing that I look at for him is because last year Minnesota was under 500 in the games that he started. This year, the Cardinals are 10-5 in the games that he started. And the way I look at a season is, if you're a pretty average team, like I think the Cardinals are, and everybody goes 500, except you have two pitchers that wind up 20. The team winds up 20-10 in their starts, or 21-11. If you do that, then you're 20 games over 500. Sonny Gray can easily, he's 10-5 now. The Cardinals could wind up being 20-10 in his starts. Same thing could happen with Kyle Gibson. Then everybody else goes 500. You're 20 games over 500, and you take your chances. That's the way I look at it. So Sonny Gray has done everything that I expected him to do. He's actually been better than I thought he would be. And I'm going to give him grace for a day like the other day. It was hot. It was miserable. He wasn't getting rocked. It wasn't like they were blowing him up. He just had a bad day. And pitchers have that. Even Chris Carpenter, if you go back and look at Chris Carpenter's best years, every month he would have a blow-up game. It happens.
If you have at least just one, I think that's fine. And you had the Nolan Arenado error in that game as well, which was very uncharacteristic. Because remember when earlier on errors were a huge issue for the Cardinals? They actually had gone a pretty good stretch without an error. Yeah. And then you had that happen with Nolan.
The person that you'd least expect at the very worst time, right?
Exactly, and that's what happened there. Lance Lynn, when you're talking about expectations going into the season, he surpassed that, for me at least. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I figured he would be one of those guys that the team goes 500 in his games. And I figured maybe 5 ERA, because last year I think he had a 5.93 last year. So for him to accomplish what he's accomplished so far has exceeded my expectations too. I thought yesterday was a really important win for the Cardinals. You can't lose 3 out of 4 to the Reds.
No.
And he went out and handled his business in great fashion. So I'm glad that the Cardinals have him. The Cardinals are off today, and by the way, Ali Marmol mentioned the other day on Saturday that his bullpen was on fumes. He literally said that. So today will be a key day off for the Cardinals. All right, we want to bring Matthew Rocchio into the conversation here because St. Louis City SC now has a 9-game winless streak. They've dropped 16 points from winning positions this season, and They had a 2-0 lead on the pitch in Vancouver, and then they blow the lead. They're down 4-2. They wind up losing 4-3. What happened? And should an MLS team ever allow 4 goals?
Well, I mean, I think that's less of it because I mean, two of the Vancouver goals were a little fluky. The second one was absolutely incredible. He backheeled it over the back of his head. Over St. Louis's goalie. And it was just, you don't, the goalies, there's no way he's thinking the ball's going to be coming off at that angle. So they had 2 fluky goals, and so it changes it, but still, yeah, letting up forward any points, rough. But at the same time, you talk about the Cardinals bullpen being stretched pretty thin. City's, stretched absolutely paper thin right now. Last week on Wednesday, when they had their midweek game last week, and they have a midweek game this week, they had a weird thing where they started 4 fullbacks and 1 center back in their back 5. And they got even weirder on Saturday because they started all 4 fullbacks because they don't have center backs right now. Everyone's injured, so they had to take 2 of their fullbacks and kick them inside the center backs, and that went about as well as you'd think it would because they let up 4 goals. And so it was a bad game, and they're stretched incredibly thin. They need to make it through the next 2 or 3 weeks, but they have 5 more games in that time frame. So there's a lot of crucial. That's 15 points available. So you got to be able to win some of those games. And right now, they need to get people healthy. And again, they have a midweek game this week, so it's not going to get easier with the schedule congestion.
So would you put it in the category of frustrating loss or step in the right direction?
Frustrating loss.
And no Berkey, by the way. You didn't play Berkey either.
Yeah, he was nursing a little knee thing. That's not like a problem. It's just they needed to get him a rest. And I wonder if it being a game on turf factored into that as well.
Yeah, that definitely.
So you don't want to push him even further. Again, you're already stretching pretty thin. I think team fans don't want to hear this, but sometimes you have to put out a roster when you have 3 games in 8 days. Sometimes you got to put out a roster in one of those games where you just go, yeah, we're getting an L in this game, but it's so that we can win the other 2. And I understand that thought process, but I know fans hate that rationale, and I know a coach will never admit to it, but it kind of seems like it.
A couple of other notes. This is the first day of NBA and NHL free agency. We'll keep an eye on the Blues for you. They opened up some cap space this weekend by trading Kevin Hayes and a 2nd-round pick to Pittsburgh, and getting essentially nothing back in return. So they basically traded a 2nd-round pick to Pittsburgh for cap space, which is fine. I'm glad
Yeah.
that they did that. Drafted a bunch of guys. Adam Jirasek on Thursday, we talked about him. Or on Friday, we talked about the first round. And then they took Colin Ralph. They took these guys that I've never heard of in the second round, day 2. Lucas Fisher, Andre Kaz, Adam Jecko. I'm rooting for these guys all to become superstars.
And then you will know their names, Randy.
Yeah. Yeah, then we will. And then in the NBA, Paul George agrees with Philadelphia on a 4-year deal for $220 million. So he will join Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, and maybe the Sixers will be able to finally get things going. We'll see.
I saw that coming in. Did that break just 4 hours ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think free agency started yesterday at, 6 o'clock or something, and they're off and running in NBA free agency. So Paul George leaves the Clippers. That's Brooke. That's Matthew. I'm Randy. Coming up, 3 things we love from the weekend here on 101 ESPN. I know you're headed to Schnucks this week because the 4th of July is on Friday, and you got to get ready for that big barbecue. Don't forget to download and use the Schnucks Rewards app, because the rewards program is always great, and now it's even better. The Schnucks Rewards program is getting personal. They've completely refreshed the program, and they've had more personalized touches with new perks just for you. Now you'll get personalized savings, which are basically custom deals on the items that you buy most. So you love those cookies from the best bakery in town at Schnucks. You buy those a lot, you can get a deal on those. Maybe you go back to the butcher and have that delicious steak, that nice ribeye. Well, you can get a deal on that too with Schnucks Rewards. You'll get personal double points days, so you can earn 4% back on your entire cart. Plus, you get a free freshly baked donut on your birthday. Pretty cool deal at Schnucks. So if you're getting ready for the holiday and you don't know what to do, just walk through their butcher shop area. They have delicious burgers, fabulous pork steaks, fantastic dogs and brats, and you'll have the perfect 4th of July setup. And if you're already a member, you'll start seeing these benefits in your rewards app now. If not, it's the perfect time to sign up. Just download the Schnucks Rewards app to get started and enjoy your 4th of July barbecue starting at Schnucks. Three things we loved about the weekend here on 101 ESPN. Brooke and Randy. Brooke is dancing to this music.
It's great music.
It is great. What do we got?
Number 3.
So number 3 for me from this weekend is going to be Ryan Helsley. With what he's been able to do for the Cardinals this season, when you were pointing out run differential, I'm trying to think about what is the big difference of what is really helping this team secure wins. And it all goes back to Ryan Helsley, what he's able to do. Picked up his 30th consecutive save, and he's the first in Major League Baseball to get to that mark so far this season. The fastest, to be able to do that. And Ryan Helsley, I think, is a big reason why the Cardinals, one, have been able to really mount this comeback that we've seen in the month of June.
Brooke, something that I really hadn't considered, but last night I was watching MLB Tonight on MLB Network with Matt Vasgersian and Yonder Alonso. Matt Vasgersian made a point that I hadn't considered. What about Ryan Helsley for Cy Young this year?
I think so. I don't think
he's
it's out of the question.
When you look at what starting pitching is and how starting pitching is performing generally in the National League, he's been the best pitcher in the National League. So I'm on board with Ryan Helsley for Cy Young. I think we need to get that thought process out there.
I think that, too, he hasn't had any sort of big, well, I don't want to jinx this, knock on wood, big issue blow up since, I believe it was March, the last time that we might have seen that. But other than that, he's been rock solid. And you know that when he comes out there, when Hell's Bells happens, especially at Busch Stadium, you just have that relaxing feeling of, okay, maybe sometimes it'll be a little bit worrisome. He likes to make it interesting, but then he's able to get you that win. He's able to seal the victory for the team.
The Hell's Bells entrance, by the way, is electrifying. Better at night.
Yes.
But it's very cool.
It is harder to tell during the day, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Brooke, mine was, and I love weekends like this. I don't have many weekends like this. I played golf and took a bike ride both days, Saturday and Sunday. I just love being outside, and it was a great weekend to be outside. Kind of warm on Saturday.
It was, yeah.
I went over to Whitmore and played over there. Kind of warm, but it was. So I did the bike in the morning, and then golf in the afternoon. And then yesterday, I did bike in the morning and golf at night. And it was just ideal for that. Like I said, warm on Saturday. But, man, what a perfect day yesterday to be outside.
Did you do the AARP?
No, they only do those once a month. So
okay.
We'll do those. I'll do one of those this month in July. Happy July, by the way.
Oh, yes. That feels so weird. It is July.
Yeah.
This year has flown by. Doesn't everybody say that?
Yeah, it's halfway through, though. We're halfway through the year now.
Oh, my gosh.
January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, we're halfway home.
This is all hitting us right now. Monday morning, straight in your face. We're halfway through the year.
Number 2.
Number 2 for me is Simone Biles and her return to the Olympics. We know what happened in 2020 where she had to drop out because of mental health reasons. And I don't know if you saw this weekend, Randy, but Simone Biles is back. She made her 3rd Olympic team official yesterday. And I always love watching her floor routines. Her floor routines are my favorite. The triple-double that she's known for, of course. She is just absolutely amazing. I'm so glad that Simone Biles is back and we get to see her in the Paris Olympics. So that is the number 2 thing for me this weekend.
How does somebody jump so high and get so high off the ground without any... She doesn't have like a trampoline or anything. It's incredible.
And she's 4'8".
Yeah. And she jumps her height. More than her height. She jumps more than her height up in the air. It's incredible.
It is. I just love watching what she was doing. And then she also came back with the Taylor Swift song. I know a lot of people were pointing out that with the floor routine, but I just love watching greatness. And the fact that we are able to witness greatness with Simone Biles, the greatest gymnast that we have ever seen. It's exciting to have her back.
It is. And it'll be great to see her in Paris. Hopefully, she's able to get through this and can lead the team to victory and win her individual competitions as well. Brooke, as you know, I prefer a hefty starting pitcher. And so Lance Lynn is my favorite, even though our guy Kyle Gibson is fantastic. But I like Lance Lynn because of his heft. And I liked yesterday seeing him out there on a nice, warm Sunday afternoon, blowing through 6 innings. I don't know why he didn't blow through more innings because he threw only 79 pitches, but I just like seeing the big fella rumbling through that Reds lineup like he did yesterday. And like you said, I think that he has exceeded our expectations. His earned run average down to 3.59 now. He's 4-3 on the season. I think he's doing more than most of us expected he would do. His earned run average is more than 2 runs a game down from what it was last year with the White Sox and Dodgers.
And he is how old? 37?
37, yep.
37.
Yep.
And the fact that he's able to improve going to season, that says a lot about him. I always love your stories, too, about when he went to get a little bit skinnier. He tried to, I guess, get more in shape. I shouldn't say skinnier. Get more in shape. And it actually didn't work out for him, so he went back to what worked for him.
Yeah, hefty.
Exactly.
Hefty is good. Hefty works. Hefty is a good thing. He's one of those kids that when his mom took him to buy clothes when he was in grade school, kind of like me, they bought Husky for him, the Husky
Do they
fit.
still have that Husky?
I don't think we do anymore. I think it's politically incorrect now.
I see the Big and Tall store still over in Brentwood. I don't know if they have the Husky section because I remember what you're talking about, seeing that.
There's nothing wrong with being Husky, except I don't think you can say it.
No.
Text
What's
in,
wrong
whatever
with that?
what's the word for Husky now? If the text line open, 314-399-9646. That might be it. Big boned, something like that.
Chonky.
Chonky?
All right, number 1.
Number 1 for me is you were talking about enjoying the outside this weekend. I enjoyed the outside as well. It was a beautiful weekend, and big news here. I grilled for the first time this summer.
All right, proud of you.
I was nervous. Did it go well? A little bit. I did chicken and steak kebabs, and I always get really nervous with chicken, specifically when I'm cooking that. Anytime I cook it, but on the grill where you can't see what's going on and it's hard to tell. I was triple checking it, and then I pulled it off, and I was like, I'll just leave it on for like 3 or 4 more minutes. So we have Mike Johnson coming in this week.
Yep.
I'll definitely need some more tips so I don't overcook my chicken, because on the grill it makes me a lot more nervous, because if I do it in the oven or on a pan, I know time-wise typically for the piece of chicken how long to cook it thoroughly, but for the grill it's harder for me to tell and know. So I was a nervous griller this weekend.
I'm going to get you a present that will prevent all nervousness.
What is that?
I'm not going to tell you, but it's...
Is it a temperature checker?
It is.
Okay. I should have put that on my wedding gift registry. I didn't think
I
about
would have
that.
gotten that for you in a blink. Yeah,
I know.
I still might.
Yeah.
So just
There's still time.
A late one. Yeah, there is. It's still the wedding summer.
We have some, just real quick, Husky thick with 2 C's.
Okay,
Randy,
that's good. Yeah,
is what the kids
like
say
that.
nowadays.
Yeah.
Let's see, fluffy. I like fluffy.
Fluffy is good.
Fluffy. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I like that a lot.
Get a thermometer.
Yeah.
Yes, I will do that. I did not think about that prior. I was very confident going into my grilling this weekend that I'd be able to do it. And I did. I mean, they came out great. Yeah, they still came out great.
Good deal. Brooke, my number 1, which I never thought would wind up on Randy's things he loved about the weekend. I watched an entire WNBA game yesterday. I watched the Phoenix Mercury take on the Indiana Fever. Hey, Diana Taurasi, reality's coming.
Oh.
Caitlin Clark with a rebound of becoming the first rookie in WNBA history to have a triple-double. She was terrific, and she gets her teammates involved. And Indiana right now, if the playoffs started today, would be in a playoff spot despite the bad start. And Caitlin Clark, they woke up the monster, big mistake, and she's going to lead that team to the playoffs. And once they get through the Olympics and she gets the Olympic rest and maybe a little bit of preparation for the second half of the season, that league better look out.
Because they brought the monster out.
They did, yeah. So I feel, and by the way, she and Diana Taurasi, they were laughing during the game and smiling and having
I saw
fun.
the hugs prior.
Yeah, so that part of it was good. But man, I think the league is changing. And by the way, Angel Reese yesterday, a double-double, first WNBA rookie ever to have 10 consecutive double-doubles.
And she could, it looks like, maybe even go for the overall WNBA record for like consecutive double-doubles and things like that. I mean, she's absolutely tearing it apart. I mean, it's kind of insane how well they're both doing.
And by the way, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this week the Chicago Sky, and we'll have to see if Atlanta has moved the game to the big arena, because I think the Chicago Sky play in Atlanta where they switched buildings for Indiana, and I'm not so sure. I know Angel Reese thinks that they're all coming to the games because of her. But we'll see if Atlanta has changed buildings here for this week's game. I'm checking the regular season schedule here for the. I am on this show. Okay, on the opening drive with Brooke, Randy, and Matthew. July 1st,
Are you about to make a take?
2024.
Oh my God, you about to have a take?
I'm checking the Chicago Sky WNBA schedule.
Oh my God.
They're at Atlanta tomorrow, so we'll find out if they've changed buildings for Angel Reese for tomorrow.
I finally get to crack open the manila envelope, ladies and gentlemen. The WNBA questions are coming to the fight.
Here we go.
Here we go. Let the floodgates open.
Yes, finally.
All right. Next up, okay, July is here. What's our assessment of the Cardinals as we head into the last 3 months of the season? That's next on 101 ESPN. Wouldn't it be great to have a sunroom at night to watch the Redbird stretch run? You'll be able to set that up August, September, and you'll be able to have a great outdoor project from Chesterfield Fence and Deck that you'll love. Think about turning your deck into a sunroom where you can have windows up and you can open them up during the fall months, and during the summer you can close them. It can either be air conditioned or you can have a ceiling fan going. You can put a TV up in there. Chesterfield Fence and Deck can do a beautiful job for you. Set an appointment with Chesterfield Fence and Deck, and you can do so by giving them a call at 800-300-4054 or finding them on the web at chesterfieldfence.com. Mention this show, mention that Randy sent you, and get 48 months of interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck for the month of July. They've been in business for 56 years. They do fantastic work with fences and decks, sunrooms, screen rooms, pergolas, and they can change your life, and they can enhance the value of your house, too. Get in touch with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Again, chesterfieldfence.com. Call 800-300-4054. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals get a split from the Reds in a 4-game series, including a 9-4 loss on Saturday and a 2-0 win yesterday. 2-0 win yesterday, courtesy of Lance Lynn's strong start, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. Also over the weekend, it was a loss for St. Louis City in Vancouver, 4-3. They were up 2-0 after the first 12 minutes, but they were then outscored 4-0 across the next 78 minutes of the match. St. Louis will look to get back in the win column with a game on Wednesday as they host the San Jose Earthquakes at City Park. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
We are here in July now, and the Cardinals have played 3 months of baseball, April, May, and June. They're 3 games over 500. They're in second place in their division, and they still hold, at the moment, the top or the wild card spot, a wild card spot in the National League. If the playoffs ended today, the Padres are a half game ahead of the Cardinals, so the Cardinals would be the 3rd wild card team with their record of 43-40 as they take on Pittsburgh tomorrow night in Pittsburgh. Brooke, I've got a couple impressions of the Cardinals so far this season. Most notable for me is that they had a chance to be so much better, and we talked about it before the series that they played against the 4 bottom teams in all of baseball: White Sox, Colorado, A's, and Miami. The Cardinals are only 8-8. They're a 500 team against teams that have horrific records and are just not playing well this season. If the Cardinals would have just done a better job against those 4 teams, they would be perhaps even in the top wild card spot right now.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is concerning to a lot of people is, of course, you're very excited about the position they're in right now. What they're doing is incredible considering the start that they got off to, a 15-24 start, and they have completely rebounded. And on top of that, they've been able to do this without really your best Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt.
Right.
And oh, by the way, Jordan Walker, who is supposed to be a part of this team, he's not even here, so he's not a factor. You also had Wilson Contreras injured for the majority of that stretch when we're looking at the rebounding portion of this. And sometimes you didn't have the best from some of your pitchers. The bullpen has been great,
And
but we started to see...
no Nootbaar or Edman either.
Yes, and Nootbaar and Edman were out of the picture, but we saw the bullpen start to bend a little bit more because of the overusage. But I go back to what I said earlier with Ryan Helsley, him being a big part of this equation of the success that the Cardinals have had and being able to rebound. I think that he's a big part of how they were able to secure a lot of these wins because he had his 30th consecutive save the other day.
It's interesting because when you look at the team, Donovan's had a really good year so far. No win has been really good. But I think if I had a vote for... Yep. If I had a vote for team MVP, though, I think I would go with Helsley.
I think so, too, because of what he's been able to do and consistently. I think that's the biggest thing that concerns me is, okay, this is great what the Cardinals are doing, but can they do it consistently?
And my biggest concern after 3 months of the season, here we've gone 3 months, and I don't think Arenado and Goldie have been good.
No.
I don't even remember a week where I thought, okay, it's going to happen for them. Like sometimes you see a guy for a week and you say, okay, he's going to get hot, and then he just falls off and does nothing. I don't even remember that week for those guys where you say, okay, now he's hot, where a guy hits 3 home runs, drives in 10 during the course of a week and carries the team. We haven't had that. And my concern now is because of what happened last year with those two when they regressed, my concern is that we're never going to see that from those. So the torch has kind of been passed from those veteran players to, I think, mainly Donovan and Wynn and Burleson, and hopefully at some point Nolan Gorman will start hitting again and get up to 200 and become a proficient hitter. And I don't know what to expect of Dylan Carlson. I really don't. I think that his chance in St. Louis probably has passed to be a good player. Especially
when you had those injuries with Nootbaar and Edman. That was a chance for him to really seize that role. And it's been more of Michael Ciani's the one that we're talking about. What he's been able to do defensively for this team has been huge. Britton Donovan, what he's been able to do at the plate, but also defensively, the plays he made in left field this weekend, those were spectacular and huge for the Cardinals.
And I wonder, and we're going to talk about this coming up at 8 o'clock, what happens when the Cardinals get guys back. The other thing about the first 3 months of the season, Brooke, that I look at, and I hope that they can replicate the first 3 months in the last 3 months, is the veteran starting pitching.
Yes.
34, 35, 36, 37-year-old starting pitchers. Can they maintain for the course of the summer months and continue to, A, stay healthy, first and foremost, but B, pitch reasonably effectively? Because the Cardinals, I think for all of us, have surprised us with the quality of their starting pitching. Not that it has been to the level of the Phillies, but with what we expected relative to what the expectations were. My opinion is, and this was my belief before the season, my opinion is that the starting pitching has been better than I thought it would be.
I would also like to see more secured of what exactly they're going to do with the fifth spot in the starting rotation. Is it going to be Andre Palante, Matthew Liberatore? How many more starts? Because I believe that he does deserve another start.
Agreed.
So maybe solidifying that role moving forward.
Did you kind of get an inkling now that maybe Gordon Graceffo might be ready too over the weekend?
Yeah, I know they sent him down, but that's just the Memphis shuttle that you
totally
see. Yeah.
But if Palante blows up for 2 consecutive games and you want to keep Liberatore in the bullpen, I have no problem with giving Graceffo an opportunity. He's been really good in the month of June for Memphis. He pitched really well on Saturday. It wouldn't break my heart at all to see him get an opportunity to be that guy, because the Cardinals looked at him after 22 as a potential front of the rotation starter. And maybe that light bulb has gone on above his head, and maybe he's kind of figured things out, and he has now the mental capacity in addition to the physical capacity to be that guy.
Yeah, I think that you have to give him a chance. We've been asking for that, right? He's 24 years old, so you have to know what you have with him. I guess when I'm assessing this team right now, I give them a lot of credit for what they've been able to do with all the things that we've listed. I do still have some concerns. You pointed out Nolan Gorman being one of them. I'm worried about what you do with him specifically. I think his batting average is like in the sub 200s currently. He just looks lost at the plate right now. So what do you do with Nolan Gorman moving forward? And the run differential thing that you pointed out, I think that that's a big concern as well. I think that that's something that is like a big glaring spotlight on this team. And I don't know exactly how you fix that. I looked this up to see how many playoff teams with negative run differentials there have been. 11 teams have made the playoffs with a negative run differential. What's interesting is that you actually saw 2 recently, with the Marlins last year, a minus 57 run differential, and the Diamondbacks with a minus 15 run differential last year.
Brooke, I think that's a great point, that the game has changed so much that you can go to the World Series with a minus run differential. For this Cardinal team specifically, minus 40 on the season, minus 26 in 7 games against Milwaukee. 1-6 and minus 26 run differential against the Brewers. So that's something that has to be fixed. They played half of their games against the Brewers for the season. And if you're going to compete for the division title, you have to turn that around. You're 1-6 against them. You're 6.5 games behind. So in the second half of the season, you're going to have to go 6-1 against them and turn around that run differential, because Milwaukee has absolutely dominated the Cardinals in the first half of the season.
So now, after assessing the first half of the season with the Cardinals, what do you think this team does really well that makes you believe when it comes to them making the playoffs?
Their bullpen has been terrific. It alarms me when the manager says the bullpen is on fumes. Hopefully they can straighten out some of those issues and get more people pitching. But I do like the game plan. Even though they're on fumes, I've always enjoyed the game plan. Get a lead after 6. Then you have 3 guys to close it down, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. I love Kittredge, Romero, Helsley. I think the bullpen has been great. And I do think, and this is the biggest thing, because I think this might be a long-term thing that's happened in the first half of the season. I think the torch has been passed to Burleson, Donovan, and Wynn. I think this is a young person's team now. I think they're the key players on this team now if they hope to win. And I think it's going to be that way for a long time.
You need to see the consistent hitting, of course, but the fact that you have the baby birds really taking things over. If you look at last year, Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, they were also starting this decline at the plate. But the difference was that you really didn't have any other guys stepping up and taking things over. Maybe you would have one guy for a little bit of a stretch, but the fact that you have, as the guys you mentioned, Alec Burleson, Mason Wynn, Brendan Donovan really stepping up consistently during the stretch, that's something that I think really showcases the difference between last year and this year.
And their best all-around player right now is Brendan Donovan.
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
also their leader. So he's got to become the face of the franchise, in my opinion. He offensively, defensively, he's their best guy. He's obviously accepted a leadership role in that clubhouse that nobody else was taking in terms of welcoming people to the ball club and in terms of being a spokesman for the team. I think the Cardinals, on the field and off, need to start selling Brendan Donovan as the face of the franchise.
That's a guy you can't get rid of.
No, he's the guy right now. If you need something big to happen in a game, he seems to always be in the middle of it. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. Coming up on 101 ESPN, it's time for Take It or Leave It. Get your text in to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. 314-399. Yo-ho! We've got Tioli next for you on 101 ESPN.
Time for Take It or Leave It.
Want to say something? Want to put it out there? If you like it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back.
Get your text into 314-399-9646 and give us your Take It or Leave It.
Brought to you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and start packing.
That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
The text line is open, 314-399-9646, 314-399. Yo-ho! All right, Brooke, Zach Wilson, quarterback for the Broncos now.
Oh, no. Where is this going?
He's engaged to Nicolette Delano, his model girlfriend.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. This is depression time for all of Zach Wilson's mom's friends.
Oh, Randy, no. No, I knew as soon as you said Zach Wilson, I knew where this was going. So I'm going to have to leave it. Who knows? Maybe all that stuff was just rumors from the first place.
Oh, there's no way.
Oh, yes.
We don't come
in
up
this
with
day and age in
that
social
couldn't be
media.
A rumor. That's got to be real. Nobody would just make that up.
100%. Have you met the internet lately? They make a lot of things up.
I honestly thought there was a Kyle Filipowski joke coming.
Oh.
Too soon, Rockio. Too soon.
That's what I would have told the girlfriend, too.
Oh, no.
Boom, boom.
No.
Well done.
Okay, well, let's go over to mine, which is way more PG than what you guys just listed. So Trevor Rosenthal holds the Cardinals record for saves in a single season with 48. Take it or leave it, Ryan Helsley will surpass that mark this season.
I'm going to take it. I'm going to say he gets 20 more and gets to 50.
He is currently on pace for 59 saves.
Wow. That'd be, I think the all-time record 62
I was just looking
by
that up.
K-Rod,
Figure it out.
if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Francisco Rodriguez?
Yes. In 2008, you were correct.
Okay, good.
Well, hopefully that wasn't a trivia question.
I think I've used every possible permutation of questions about saves in the MLB and Cardinals career saves. I think I've used every single possible potential save question. I don't think I have any left in me.
You know, the record...
Let him burn for another 3 months.
The record before Bruce Sutter got here and had 36 saves. I think he had 25 in 1981 in the strike season. But the record before that had only been 22 by the Mad Hungarian.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I actually think I did a trivia question around that.
Yeah.
Like how crazy it was, how who was the first Cardinal ever broke 30 saves or something like that.
They would have won a lot more in the 70s with better bullpens. Al was really the only guy they had. And then Mark Littell after they traded Al for Mark Littell. All right, Matthew, what do you got on the text line?
Take it or leave it. The 76ers are now legit contenders with the Paul George signing.
I'm going to leave that.
Are you going to leave it because of Embiid?
That's part of it. Now you got two guys that are hurt a lot. Playoff P would be great, but I don't know. It's I think Paul George is past his prime, unfortunately. So I'm gonna leave that.
Playoff P is past his prime?
Yes. But the thing is, if they can keep him healthy, it's quite a statement there. But if they can keep he and Embiid healthy, I don't know. We got a chance, I guess. And Maxi's their most important player.
Just encase their feet in cement.
Yeah, really.
He's 34, past his prime.
Playoff P? Yeah, he is.
No.
Take it or leave it. George Springer is a perfect fit for the Cardinals. Ship out Edmund for him.
Oh, my God.
Who says no first, Randy?
Well, here's the thing about George Springer. I think he's got 3 years left at a ridiculous amount of money.
He has a 640. He has a 643 OPS, and he's slugging 341.
His batting average is bottom 5 in baseball.
It's 214. Honestly, I honestly expected something.
He's hot.
I expected. I was gonna say. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's a 1 in front of his batting average. It actually isn't, but George Springer is slugging 341. I mean, he's essentially Nolan Gorman right now.
Yeah, 132nd right now in batting average. Not that makes any difference.
He's an outfield Nolan Gorman. What do you want?
Yeah, I don't think that's. I don't think that's the answer. What did you say that OPS was 6 something?
340. Oh, OPS 643.
130th in baseball in OPS. Yeah. No, I don't think that. And by the way, his contract is prohibitive too. Let me get that contract for you here. So no, I don't think he fits what the Cardinals are looking for here.
So a hard leave.
I thought we said before. What if Gorman could play right field?
You get although George Springer can run, and he's been a world champion, he's been a good player.
His strikeout rate isn't as egregious as Gorman's. Is
egregious.
I'm being facetious. He has 50 strikeouts to Gorman's 100.
Yeah, Gorman's going to have 200 strikeouts.
Yes, he is.
So Springer this year is making $24.1 million, and he's got $24.1 left next year and the year after that too.
No thanks. Take it or leave it. Perron will be a Blue for the 4th time.
I'm going to take it. I'm going to dream and hope and say yes.
Really? Really?
I'm going to take it. Yeah.
Oh, so with the Kevin Hayes money moving a little bit, you're getting a little excited for that. I'm going to have to leave it. I don't know if the wounds have healed on Perron's side with the way that all that went. I remember I went to that press conference, end of season press conference, where Perron stated that he really wanted to stay here in St. Louis. His kids play hockey here. And as soon as the news came that he was, of course, not staying in St. Louis, you could tell that things were not going to go well. And he was he's a very vocal person. Michelle and you had him on the show, and he really is vocal about his opinions of things. And you could tell just based off what he was saying, he was hurt by the process.
So 2 things here. Number 1, randomly, many years ago, I was at Target and I bought a Blues 91 Stamkos t-shirt.
Oh, I see what you're doing here.
Take it or leave it. You'd do 3 and 27 for Stamkos. No?
I don't know how you find $9 million.
Well, next year you don't have Bucci.
Okay.
Whoa,
now, Mr. Karraker. Wait a second.
Whoa.
Just a little like hidden take, a little like mold
You're gonna
take.
do
It's
3
kinda like popped up and
years
down,
for
like
Stamkos, and he's 34?
A little whack-a-mole take from Randy Karraker there. It went for 1, the other one popped out.
Stamkos,
I think
40
he might-
goals, 41 assists in his age 33 season.
He's so good.
Yeah, he is.
Yep. Year before that, 34 and 50. Year before that, 42 and 64. Year before that, he was hurt, had 34 points in 38 games. I think he's still got it.
Yeah, but is that the guy you want Kyrie to learn from?
Who would you rather? Who would you rather have as your number 2 center, Buchnevich or Stamkos?
Oh, 100% Stamkos. But doesn't that kind of go against what Army has been talking about when he's talking about new additions and staying in that very young age range?
Yep, but how much, that's a great point Matthew made, how much could a winner like that benefit a young group that's coming along like this?
It would be huge.
Take it or leave it. In the next 365 days, the Cardinals extend Brendan Donovan. By the way, he does have 3 more years before he hits free agency in 2028.
I'm taking it.
I think it's a good time to find out.
I'm going to say they extend Donovan.
They should. Don't you believe that? They should do
I do.
that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep. They've done it with Paul DeYoung in the past. They've done it with Colton Wong. They've done it with Matt Carpenter. They've done it with Alan Craig. Yeah, I think that's a guy that, and as a matter of fact, I would go to all 3 of the kids. I'd go to Donovan, Burleson, and Wynn and offer them extensions.
100%.
Take it or leave it. Among the players who have left, Colton Wong is the only recent Cardinal to hit his peak with the Cardinals.
What about Rosarena?
How is he doing this year, by the way?
Terrible, but he did hit a home run yesterday.
So you're saying we won the trade? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, Matthew Liberatore.
If we just did it on like a season-by-season basis, then maybe we could take that approach with
maybe.
it. Who peaked with the Cardinals?
Yeah, I'll take it. Oh, by the way, I was doing this earlier.
Aledmus Diaz.
Oh, there you go.
He also credited with the
I don't
Cardinals.
think I had this on the air because I was doing some research this morning. So yesterday, Elahurst Montero was DFA'd by the Colorado Rockies. The players that the Colorado Rockies received from the Cardinals in exchange for Nolan Arenado. Tony Losey was traded to Tampa and released by the Rays last year. He's out of baseball. Mateo Gil was released by the Rockies, and he's now in the Mets organization, floating between Double-A and High-A 3 years after the deal was made. Jake Summers is a 27-year-old Double-A pitcher for Colorado. 27-year-old Double-A pitcher for Colorado. Montero, as we mentioned, DFA'd. And Austin Gomber is 1-5 with an earned run average approaching 5. So I would say the Cardinals, even with the struggles of Arenado this year, won that trade.
Yeah. I mean, that trade was a no-brainer.
It was.
On the Cardinals' part.
And apparently the Rockies had no brain when they made it.
I don't know what the Rockies' plan is sometimes.
No, they don't either. That's the problem.
they just kind of go with the flow a little bit. Honestly, I forgot that Austin Gomber was there. I thought for some reason in my mind, maybe it's a Mandela effect, I thought he went to Japan at some point.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't think he has. And I think they still have, if I'm not mistaken, I think Dakota Hudson's still in their rotation too.
Oh.
Yeah, so they've got some, he peaked with the Cardinals, right? 16 wins.
Yeah.
So we'll go with that. I'll leave it then.
Take it or leave it. Giving up on Carlson the same season that Walker's stuck in the minors has you really worried about how this might go in the future.
I'll take that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I believe that's a take it from Brooke based on the noise and the content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me sad.
It's hard to
a
get
little bit.
positive about it considering just how bright and shiny everything was this time last year and how, it's not right now.
No, it's just not good at all. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Randy.
And thank you very much for your text. We do appreciate them. Coming up, the Cardinals expect to have both Lars Nootbaar and Tommy Edman back by the All-Star break, according to the Pobo. So what does that mean for the guys who are playing the outfield now? That's next on 101 ESPN. Hey, there's an incredible opportunity for you if you're in the workforce and you want to enhance your education and enhance your place in your company. Go to Lindenwood Online. Affordable, industry-relevant online programs, perfect for working adults. They have 35-plus fully online programs taught by industry experts that are committed to your success. And they're going to work with you to apply credit for prior learning and experience so that you can get the most out of your education at Lindenwood. The top-ranked MBA in Missouri, according to Fortune Education, in 23 and 24. Learn more at online.lindenwood.edu. Lindenwood puts students first. They promise a transformative experience through personalized support, innovative teaching, and empowering self-discovery, inspiring learners to explore their talents and passions and realize their true potential. And their online program is one of the best. It allows you to advance your career with flexible, accessible online learning. As we mentioned, 35 industry-relevant degree programs and options for military students as well. Learn more at online.lindenwood.edu.
by Lindenwood University. Real experience, real success.
It's 8:05 in St. Louis. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Brooke and Randy with you. And Chip Carey mentioned on the TV broadcast yesterday that at a season ticket holders event yesterday, John Mozeliak mentioned that both Lars Nootbaar and Tommy Edman are expected back before the All-Star break, which is amazing for Edman when you consider that it's July 1st and we're less than 2 weeks away from the All-Star break. But that's what he said. So we are going to we're going to run with it.
I just like how you said that's what he said, because we've had so many setbacks with Tommy Edman. Tommy Edman, great guy, by the way, and I do believe that when he is there, when he's available, that he can be a huge asset to this team. It's just the availability is the biggest factor there.
Right.
He's continued to have so many setbacks in this journey with his wrist issues, and then you had the sprained ankle the other day. So I guess we'll see what it looks like when he comes back here.
And he's back from the sprained ankle. Apparently, it was not
serious. Very quick. Yes.
Yeah, so he's doing okay. By the way, we aren't going to include Jordan Walker in this discussion. He was 0 for 4 yesterday. Did not have a great weekend, batting .255 with a .713 OPS. But when Edman and Nootbaar return, Brooke, the Cardinals are getting reasonably good work out of Donovan in left, Siani, who's hitting better now in center, and Alec Burleson. So with two additions, two starters from before spring training returning, what happens and who sits when Edman and Lars Nootbaar return?
You know, I do not want to see Siani sit. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. I think that he is saving a lot of runs for the Cardinals pitchers currently right now. What we've seen from him defensively has been huge for this team, and I don't want to see him phased out of this equation. So actually, my big question is maybe what do you do with Nolan Gorman? Because Nolan Gorman is struggling. We've talked about it. There's no way around this. We know that he's streaky, but at this point, with the peaks and valleys of the season for him, he has been in a very deep valley, and he is not really working his way out of it. You've seen him. You saw him this past weekend. Does he look lost at the plate to you?
He does look lost at the plate, and I think the Cardinals would be better served, and he would probably be better served, just like Jordan Walker,
exactly,
to be doing it at Memphis. And that opens up a spot for Donovan at second base.
And that's where I'm going with this, is that with Nolan Gorman, the struggles that he's continuing to have, 109 strikeouts, by the way, that he has on the season, send him down so that he can get better. And that helps you figure out this whole situation with Lars Nootbaar and Tommy Edman coming back. And you can have Tommy Edman get some work at second. So I think it plays out really well.
You've nailed it here. So you've got an outfield of Nootbaar, Siani, Burleson. You've got Donovan at second, and then Tommy Edman becomes your super utility guy. If Arenado needs a day off, if Wynn needs a day off, if Donovan needs a day off, if any of the outfielders need a day off, Tommy Edman is your super sub. I think that's a great way to do it. In fact, I can't think of a better way for the Cardinals to handle this situation. And maybe they can fix Nolan Gorman, because he's a guy with obviously tremendous potential, but he's on base to strike out more than 200 times this season. And I know that players don't care about strikeouts anymore, and the analytics people don't care about strikeouts. But I think even the analytics people might agree that when you're hitting less than 200 and you aren't putting the ball in play, you have less of a chance to get a hit when you never touch the baseball.
I think that letting him have some time in the minors will be huge and beneficial to him. My concern is how long it's taken Jordan Walker to really get to where they need him to be. I was expecting him, honestly, Randy, to be back by now. Weren't
June
you?
6th was my date.
Oh, well, yeah, because it was bobblehead day
right.
or night for him. And so I was expecting him to be back. From what I'm understanding and hearing, his numbers have to go up by quite a bit.
He went 2 for 6 on Friday, then 0 for 8 over the weekend. So it's really not happening for Jordan Walker. I'm not so sure that the Cardinals and Jordan Walker are on the same page in regards to his advancement and what he's doing and what they want him to do. I think, well, let me say this. I'm alarmed by his lack of progress and their lack of enjoyment for what he is doing in terms of what they want him to do. So that's why I left him out of the equation, because I don't think that he's part of the equation. I also don't believe, honestly, is the All-Star game on the 13th? When's the All-Star game? Whenever it is. I don't think there's a chance in hell Tommy Edman can rebound and rehab. It's on the 16th, 15th or 16th?
16th.
So today's July 1st. If he would go out for a rehab today, they would be really rushing him to get him back by the 13th or whatever. Well, he should go down for 20 days. He's got to have his full complement of games because he hasn't played since last September. So if they're going to be responsible with Tommy Edman, they need to send him down and get him all the games that he's allowed to get before they bring him back and put him in a major league uniform.
100%. It's almost like he needs another spring training again because of how much time that he has missed. It's been setback after setback for him. And with Lars Nootbaar, by the way they're handling his return is that he is going to be in Springfield today, I believe, yes, and play 7 innings in the outfield. And then once he hits 9 innings consecutively, he will be back with St. Louis.
And I would think that would be by the end of the week. So I have no problem with that lineup then.
And you want him to be your right fielder?
Burleson and left and him and right?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. By the way, that is a very heavy left-handed lineup. But you're taking out Gorman, basically, and putting another left-handed hitter in there. So you've got your right-handed hitters on the infield with Arenado, Goldie, and Wynn, and Contreras behind the plate, and then and Ciani in center. And then lefties in left, right, second, and DH. So who is your DH in this scenario, by the way?
Did you already say
Gorman,
you have Burleson in left, right?
Yes.
Wasn't Contreras.
And then Pajes behind the plate. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Wilson's behind the plate, and you can, I don't know. Feels like you can still put Carp in there.
Yeah.
It feels like there's still a way to get.
He's there.
Feels like there's still probably a way to get Burley a day at DH and let him rest his legs.
And let Carlson play.
Yeah. So I feel like let him rest his legs a little bit so he's not playing, running out there every game.
If somebody would have told you at the beginning of the season that Michael Ciani would be your center fielder and that there'd be no way that you would move him out of that position, what would you have said?
No chance.
You'd be like, who?
By the way, how
He's a
important?
9-hitter.
Next homestand, Cardinals, Michael, we have to start playing the NFL Films Raiders music when you as your walk-up music.
That's his great uncle.
I know. So we got to get that going. I don't even know what his walk-up song is, but
I have no idea.
Everybody would remember if it's the Winter Wind or whatever for the Raiders song, NFL Films Raiders song. So we'll play it for you a little bit later. We'll do it during the Rush Hour Reset. Coming up next year on 101 ESPN, should the Cardinals shake up the rotation following the success of Libertor? That'll be next on 101 ESPN.
Coverage of 101 ESPN is presented by Under Law Injury Lawyers. GetJim.com. Someone's got to say it. Let it be you. Use the mic drop feature in the 101 ESPN app. Search the 101 ESPN app now in the App Store or Google Play.
St. Louis bi-state summers are hot, humid, and can be deadly. Heat can even fry an egg on a sidewalk. For many seniors and the disabled, income goes to rent, medicine, and groceries, often with nothing left to pay utility bills. Please help seniors keep the air on, and let's check on neighbors. CoolDownSt.Louis.org can also help Missouri and Illinois qualified neighbors with utility bills. Get help. Give help at CoolDownSt.Louis.org.
I want you to know about what you can do with Together Credit Union. They are absolutely fantastic here in the metro area, and they've got so many things going on for them. If your home needs repairs, maybe an update or a remodel, and you don't want to pile on debt, you can check out Together Credit Union's interest-only home equity line of credit. With Together Credit Union's interest-only home equity line of credit, you can borrow up to 90% of the current equity in your home and pay interest-only monthly payments for the first 10 years. Plus, there's no annual fees or prepayment penalties. Together Credit Union's interest-only home equity line of credit offers flexible borrowing, which means you can borrow as much as or little as you need to make your house a home. And you can pay your balance at any time during the draw period and then borrow it again, which puts you in control of your finances. To learn more about Together Credit Union's interest-only home equity line of credit, stop by a branch or visit togethercu.org. Together Credit Union and their interest-only home equity line of credit, federally insured by the NCUA.
For over 2 decades, E&B Granite has been St. Louis's trusted name for kitchen, bathroom, and outdoor space renovations that are guaranteed to bring new life into your living spaces. Their skilled team will provide you with personalized customer service, fast turnaround times, and prices you won't find with big box stores. Support local and schedule a free consultation at enbgranite.com or call them at 314-645-9300, or better yet, stop by the showroom and explore their massive inventory. Again, that's enbgranite.com.
ESPN has your chance to win free tickets to Dan and Shay with special guests Jake Owen and Dylan Marlowe. On Saturday night, July 20th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Tickets for Dan and Shay just went on sale, but we've already got your chance at the free ticket hookup. Get entered to win those free tickets now, either at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app.
This is the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Brought to you by Sumner One.
Cardinals have gotten pretty good work out of that fifth spot in the rotation recently. Last start for Andre Palante, he was terrific. Liberatore was outstanding in his emergency start a couple of days ago. And then you get a strong performance the other day from Gordon Graceffo. And the question becomes, should the Cardinals actually settle on a fifth starter, or should they go with the hot hand? And maybe the matchup, if you have a predominantly left-handed hitting lineup, might Liberatore be a better option, or Palante, who has great reverse splits? And with Graceffo's stuff, and he pitched really well the other day and apparently gained some confidence, should Graceffo get an opportunity? Would you try to... I would try to find a guy, but I'm basically having an audition in July for that fifth starter spot, Brooke. I
think that you have to, especially when you're going into the trade deadline. See what you have with these guys. I think that Matthew Liberatore, that last start, was impressive. And I think that with Libby, it's the way that the scheduling finally worked out for him. I think the start prior to that, he was thrust into that position because of what happened with Kyle Gibson. I mean, he was notified, 15 minutes prior? It was very quickly prior to the game.
Gibson had Kyle Gibson had the bat back.
Exactly.
And he didn't have it for a week back.
It was longer than
15 minutes.
And so I think that maybe giving Matthew Liberatore a proper timeline, because, starting pitchers too, they have to have their routine, and I think the scheduling matters a lot for him. And so with Libby, I think he deserves another start, and you are kind of auditioning these guys to see what they can give you. I'm glad that they finally brought up Gordon Graceffo. I'm excited to see what exactly he has going on and what he has available for him, because you need to. He's 24 years old. You need to know what you have with him.
And he looks like he has the stuff. 4-0 with a 2.05 in August. or not in August, in June for Memphis. And then he comes up, throws 4 1/3, coming out of the bullpen, 4 1/3. He struck out 4, walked 2, allowed 3 hits in those 4 1/3, and allowed 1 earned run. And for me, he showed the stuff, has the ability to be the kind of guy the Cardinals want at the front of the rotation with the strikeout, the swing and miss stuff. So he's worth a look. Liberatore clearly is worth a look based on his last start on Thursday. And then Pallante, who would have thought that Pallante and Lynn would have been the guys that gave you the great starts at the end of this homestand against Cincinnati?
100%. We have someone from the 314 that said, I was so wrong about Pallante. I thought he would have gotten rocked by now. I think that I wasn't expecting that from Pallante this season.
Here's the thing about Pallante, and that's why, Randy, you talking about maybe making it a matchup-based thing jumps out to me, because when you look at Andre Pallante's last 6 starts, and this includes 5 starts in June and then his last start in May, 0 earned runs, 6 earned runs, 0 earned runs, 1 earned run, 5 earned runs, 0 earned runs. So it's literally you're either getting a fantastic quality start with 0 or 1 earned runs, or he's getting shellacked for 6 runs across either 3 or 5 innings. And so clearly I think there's a way to target the Andre Pallante starts instead of just saying you are the 5th starter. If you can be more strategic with it and then maybe go to a Liberatore and maybe you bring up maybe Graceffo becomes like a piggyback guy. I'm not sure. Clearly, though, I think that you have to change things up a little bit because, yes, Pallante is good in moments, but he does have a blow-up game, usually right after he has a good one.
Question here. So Jason on the YouTube chat brings this up. Do not give Libby another start because of the quote that you brought up earlier that Marmal said that the bullpen is on fumes. Don't fall for it. We saw these spot performances from Libby last season. So that is interesting because you do have that comment from Ollie Marmal where he admits that the bullpen is on fumes. So how do you also make sure that the bullpen is secured in this situation while you are auditioning guys?
What I would do is take the guy that has the most ability, and I believe that's Liberatore, and put him in the rotation. It's not like Andre Pallante has never pitched out of the pen and has reverse splits. If you need 2 1/3, 3 1/3, 4 1/3 out of Pallante coming out of the bullpen, he can do that too. I would like to see my most talented guys in the rotation, and I believe that Liberatore is more talented than Pallante. I think that Liberatore gives you a better opportunity to get deep into games. He threw 6 innings the other night. How many pitches did he throw in that
it was
6-inning
81
performance?
Or it was over 80, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 85. So 6 innings, 85 pitches. And
we don't have many starters who are throwing past 80 pitches.
No, we don't. Not anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why I would choose Liberatore. But I don't disagree with the premise, though, that he needs to earn that position to keep that position. And if you have Pallante and Graceffo providing competition, there's nothing better than competition. And if Matthew Liberatore knows, okay, there's a guy right behind me that can take this job, I believe that that will benefit him. But he's the guy that I think has the best chance to be a front of the rotation starter of that group right now. Graceffo might wind up being that guy, but I think for this year, for 2024, if you need a guy to pitch in the playoffs, I would go with him. Now, would he pitch? It's an interesting thing, and we're still only halfway through the season. But if we get to the playoffs, it's probably Gray, Gibson. You keep Michaelis in there, right? And Lynn. Those 4 are going to be your 4 starting pitchers in the playoffs.
And with Andre Pallante, too, the right job and position in the bullpen, I think, is another key part. Would you put him in high leverage situations like we saw with him last season, or do you see him more as a middle relief guy? I
think he is moved beyond the Holy Trinity. And I think
that was a cursed. That was a cursed group.
It was. So yeah, I would have no problem putting him in a leverage situation in the 6th inning. My 7th is pretty well locked down though. When I'm in the lead after 6, I'm going as long as they are not on fumes. Kittredge, Romero, and Helsley. Those are going to be my 3.
We're getting a lot of questions about if the bullpen is on fumes, why did Ollie take out Lance Lynn yesterday? I believe he was at 79 pitches.
Yep. Yeah. I wondered that myself. And even though the bullpen, and maybe he wasn't talking about the big three in particular. I wondered that myself, but he was comfortable enough with those three, with a 1-0 lead, by the way, to give them the opportunity. And like I said, if the thing is, you win 95, if you're going to be a 90, 91, 92, 95 win team, and those guys come out of the bullpen 60, 65 times for the 7th, 8th, and 9th, they should be able to do that. But they do need a break. And I thought it was interesting yesterday that he didn't go another inning with Lynn, but it worked for him. So Ollie knew what he had available
Hindsight's
to him
2020.
on the day. And I always go back to the old Tony La Russa line. Never forget that I know more about this team than you do. And Ollie clearly does.
Because it worked out.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that it worked out. So hindsight is 2020 in that situation. I do find it interesting that a lot of pitchers with the Cardinals are being kept around that 80 pitch mark. I think another part here with what we're talking about, where you're auditioning guys trying to figure out that 5th starter role, is that you do need to be able to audition guys. That means that the other starters have to remain healthy, because then you would be thrusting one of those young players into that position where maybe they would falter. And now you have that kind of flexibility because of health with the other starters in the rotation, that you can audition these guys a little bit more to know what you have going into the trade deadline.
Right. And that's important. And everybody else knows, too, what you have if you decide to move somebody. Brooke, one thing about the Cardinals that I've always admired under Mo is that they do play the long game. And we're sitting here halfway through the season with Michaelis at 35, Gibson at 36, Gray at 34, Lynn at 37. I guarantee you that another 15 pitches yesterday wouldn't have felt like a big deal. But if you add 15 pitches for 5 consecutive starts, all of a sudden you're at 60 more pitches on the season. There's a finite number of pitches in an arm each year. Maybe what the Cardinals are thinking is, with their seasoned starting rotation, that it will benefit them in August and September to preserve those arms in June and July.
I think that's the key. I think that's the big key right there, is that you have to keep those guys healthy. Look around Major League Baseball right now. How many pitching injuries are we seeing specifically with starting pitchers across the league?
All over the place. Look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers have a number 1 rotation on the IL right now. And they're really, aside from Kershaw, who, by the way, suffered a setback with his shoulder injury, they're not older guys. So you have to be concerned, and not concerned, but you have to be cognizant of their age and what they are able to do for you at the end of a really long season, because the most important part of the season is going to be August and September.
I think the other important part, too, is in Lance Lynn's postgame, I wanted to bring this up, that he didn't say that he wanted to be pulled after 80 pitches, but it seems like that's just the process of what they're doing, because you have to keep these guys healthy.
Yeah. So I have no problem with that, as long as you win the game, and they did.
Yeah, 7-3 on the homestand.
That we still need for Kittredge, Romero, Helsley. We don't have the HDH like the Royals had with Herrera, Wade Davis, and Holland when they were winning the World Series. But we need to come up with a better name than the Big Three for the Big Three.
Yeah, because that's already taken, obviously. Yeah. We got to workshop this. We've been talking about this for a while. We really need to workshop this. Kittredge,
Romero, Helsley, 314-399-9646, 314-399.
Yo-ho.
Coming up, we've got the fight. Matthew, do we need a fighter?
Yeah, you beat young Sheldon on Friday.
I did. I beat young Sheldon. I beat up a kid. Sorry.
Oh.
And that's going to be a drop, isn't it? Sorry. If you'd like to participate in the fight, 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO with your name and the word fight, and maybe you'll fight me next on 101 ESPN.
It's time for a DraftKings at Casino Queen Redbird report on 101 ESPN.
Brooke Grimsley here for your Redbird report. The Cardinals go 7-3 on the homestand after shutting out the Reds 2-0 yesterday. Lance Lynn and the bullpen combined in a 2-hitter, Lynn allowing just 2 hits while walking 1 and striking out 6 in 6 innings. Andrew Kittredge, JoJo Romero, and Ryan Helsley closed out the last 3 innings, with Helsley converting his 30th consecutive save to extend his team record. Mason Wynn went 2 for 4 with an RBI double, and Pedro Pajes went 3 for 4 and scored a run. The Cardinals will have the day off before hitting the road to face the Pirates on Tuesday.
The Redbird Report is presented by DraftKings at Casino Queen. Play, stay, dine at DraftKings at Casino Queen.
Hey, don't forget there's a big-time soccer match tonight, and it'll be available to you at the Fenton Bar and Grill. So if you are into international soccer, you need to head on over to the Fenton Bar and Grill. The match starts tonight at 8 o'clock St. Louis time, and you'll absolutely love the food at the Fenton Bar and Grill. When you stop by for the soccer, make sure that you also enjoy some of the trash wings. Best trash wings that you'll ever have. Enjoy them with some of the signature golden sauce that they have there, or you can also just have it with some ranch, and you'll absolutely love it. But there's some great things happening at Fenton Bar and Grill. They've got a great group of people. You'll love visiting with Megan and Kelly and the other Kelly and Casey during the course of the day, and you'll love all the food they have. They have great burgers, salads, wraps. It's a wonderful place to go. It's only 2 minutes from the soccer park on Rudder Road in Fenton. You can learn more at FentonBarandGrill.com. I like to stop by and say hi, and so if you want to watch the USA and Uruguay tonight, check it out at the Fenton Bar and Grill on Rudder Road in Fenton. Huge soccer fans. It'll be a lot of fun for you. Enjoy it at the Fenton Bar and Grill, and tell them Randy sent you.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals over the weekend finished off a split of their 4-game series with the Reds, 2 games apiece. They go 7-3 over their 10-game homestand. They will be off today before being back in action on Tuesday. Also in action over the weekend, it was St. Louis City. They were across the border facing off against the Vancouver Whitecaps, and they fall 4-3 after a 2-0 lead. Leads to them giving up 4 straight across the next 78 minutes. They are now on 9 straight winless streak, and will try to change that on Wednesday as they host the San Jose Earthquakes at City Park. That is your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Fight! In the red corner, Average Joe Listener. And in the blue corner, the undisputed king of morning drive. Please welcome Randy Karraker.
Welcome back to the opening drive. Brooke, Rocky, Randy here, and it is time for the fight. And our fighter today is Nathan. Nathan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Brooke. How about you?
I'm doing great. Is this your first time facing Randy in the fight?
It's my first time fighting Randy, but you beat me 4-3 about 6 months ago, and CD beat me 3-1 a year ago.
Oh, but now you're facing Megamind. So
yes,
we'll see how this goes.
I'm hoping no grapes or bacon. Diet Dr. Pepper's fine, though.
I was trying to see if he actually left. Did you see the grapes leave with him in the room today?
I did not see any grapes, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what's going on exactly. I can't say, confirm or deny whether or not there's the presence of grapes.
Okay.
So you never know, Nathan. You never know. You ready for question number 1?
I'm ready.
Okay. I think everyone in St. Louis will be happy to wish Nelson Cruz a happy birthday. While we will always remember him for falling to the Cardinals in the 2011 World Series, Cruz was also a part of the Rangers' 2010 World Series loss. Who did they lose to in that series? Was it the Giants, the Phillies, or the Dodgers?
2010, Giants, Phillies, Dodgers. Oh, I know it's not the Dodgers because they didn't win until 2020. What was the other two? You said what was the 3 answers?
Giants, Phillies, or Dodgers?
I gotta go with the Giants. That's the top of my head of the era. That sounds about right. They pretty much dominated around the time we did in 11, so I'll go with Giants.
All right. Paul George has made another big move, joining the 76ers earlier today. His move to the Clippers is one of the biggest trades in NBA history, and it revolved around which player who has since gone on to be an All-NBA first-teamer and MVP finalist. Was that Luka Doncic, Devin Booker, or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
I'm sorry, Rock. Can you repeat that question one more time?
No problem. Paul George made a big move to the signing with the Clippers earlier today. His trade to the signing with the 76ers earlier today, excuse me. His trade to the Clippers is one of the biggest trades in NBA history, and it revolved around which player who has since gone on to be an All-NBA first-teamer and MVP finalist. Was that Luka Doncic, Devin Booker, or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
I mean, I feel like Luka's a trick answer, but at the same time, it's the only one that really makes sense. I'm sure there's people yelling at me on the radio as usual, but I'm gonna have to go with Luka.
They always yell.
They always yell.
You get over it after a little bit.
We're kind of used to it, Nathan, at this point.
Right.
Bring it on.
Well, either people are clapping or they're smacking themselves in the forehead. Like, come on, Nate.
Always. Yeah. It's always easier when you're playing in your car, but then when you get into this situation, it's tougher. You ready for 3? Question number 3?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. Which Chicago native picked off Bears quarterback Rex Grossman and returned it for a touchdown in the Colts' Super Bowl 41 victory? Is it Marlon Jackson, Kelvin Hayden, or Bob Sanders?
Nice question, Rocky.
Thank you.
I'm just glad it's not WNBA yet, unless
no, next week.
Okay, next week. Repeat the answers for me.
It is
Please.
Marlon Jackson, Kelvin Hayden, or Bob Sanders.
The only name I even know in there is Bob Sanders, and I know NFL, but that one is just kind of like, I'm going to go with my gut and say Bob Sanders. Sounds like a Randy answer.
All right. Who is the only active player in Major League Baseball to lead a league in batting average 3 or more times? Is that Charlie Blackmon, Luis Ariz, or Jose Altuve?
Altuve, final answer.
All right, we'll double check our score. We'll bring in Randy Karraker.
How are you feeling this time around, Nathan?
Not great, but 50-50.
Oh, you never know. You never know. It's Monday. It's a holiday week. Oh, and
It is.
there's grapes. Rockio was admiring Randy's shirt, which everybody should go onto YouTube and check out today. He's going patriotic all week, which we're only here for 3 days.
I didn't realize that the stars were actually golf balls.
Really?
I
You
noticed.
didn't notice
I noticed the T's inside of the red stripes on the flag, but I hadn't noticed. I hadn't picked up that the stars on the field of blue were actually golf balls. It's a fantastic T-shirt, Randy. Thank you. Oh.
Pledge allegiance.
Turning on the right microphone would help.
Okay, good.
Say hi to Nathan, Randy.
Nathan, good morning. How are you?
I'm great, Randy. How about yourself?
Good. You excited about the 4th?
Oh, I'm always excited about the 4th. Independence Day, the movie, and Independence Day just in general.
Nathan's hot
Barbecue.
dog eating contest. Hello.
Well, I mean that, but what? Joey Chestnut's not in it.
I know. Disappointing. Very disappointing.
I guess he got bought out by a vegan company.
Yeah, weird.
Boo.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to face Nathan in the fight?
Yeah, Nathan, thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
Absolutely, Randy. It's been a long time coming. It's a pleasure to talk with you.
Looking forward to it.
Question number 1. I think everyone in St. Louis will be happy to wish Nelson Cruz a happy birthday, while we will always remember him for falling to the Cardinals in the 2011 World Series. Cruz was also a part of the Rangers' 2010 World Series loss. Who did they lose to in that series?
Oh, who did they lose? The 2010 World Series? The Rangers? Oh, man. Was it the Pirates?
Oh, stop it. That's rude. That's just rude to a whole city.
Okay, it was the San Francisco Giants. Cody Ross, Aaron Rowan.
I forgot about him. Oh,
rookie
my God,
Buster
Aaron
Posey.
Rowan, my God.
Yeah,
What a name.
Lincecum, Kane, Jonathan Sanchez. It was a pretty good group. The rookie Madison Bumgarner, 20 years old. Pretty good Rich Aurelia at shortstop. The old Pirate second baseman, Freddie Sanchez.
Shouts to Hummel, who loved Matt Cain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then don't forget Big Panda over at third base.
Oh, God.
And the extraordinarily weird Aubrey Huff at first.
God, that is such a weird roster. All right, here we go. Randy, number 2. Paul George has made another big move, joining the 76ers earlier today. His move to the Clippers was one of the biggest trades in NBA history, and it revolved around which player who has since gone on to be an All-NBA first-teamer and MVP finalist.
So his trade to the Clippers from OKC.
Revolved around which player who has since gone on to be an All-NBA first-teamer and MVP finalist.
It's got to be, I didn't realize this, but I guess it is. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right? I would think. Let's hit a lifeline. I'm pretty sure that's it. Let's do it.
Is it Luka Doncic?
No.
Devin Booker?
No.
Or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
I will go with Shai.
Final answer.
Final answer.
All right, ready for the question number 3. I forgot that we were on 3. I was thinking we were towards the end there.
No.
You went through an entire roster earlier, so it threw me off a little bit. Okay, which Chicago native picked off Bears quarterback Rex Grossman and returned it for a touchdown in the Colts Super Bowl 41 victory?
Super Bowl 41. Who did have that return for them? I'm going to go with Antoine Bethea, but I'm not sure. I'll just go with him.
All right, and who is the only active player in Major League Baseball to lead a league in batting average 3 or more times?
Active player that has led a league, national or American, 3 times. 3 or more times, right?
Yes.
So I think Ariz has only led twice, last year with the Marlins and the year before that with Minnesota. Let's see. It's not a Cardinal. Cards, Cubs, Brewers, Pirates, Reds, Doyers, Giants, Padres. I don't think Manny has. Dodgers, Giants, Padres, Rockies, D-backs, Braves. No, they don't have any. Braves, Mets, Marlins, Nats, Phillies. This should be pretty obvious, I would think. Yankees, Red Sox, Orioles, Rays, Jays. Okay, there should be a big money player. This is kind of weird that I don't have it yet. A's, Angels. I don't think Mike Trout, but maybe. A's, Angels, Astros, Altuve? I think I'll go with Jose Altuve.
This was a very, very close fight. Inches away from a tiebreaker being needed. But no, we have an outright winner. And is it Nathan, who is looking for his first victory against Randy in his first time going up against Randy? Or does Randy Karraker walk away with a win on a short week to start it off? Ring that bell.
The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Karraker.
The fight is presented by Golf Discount of St. Louis. With the most experienced club fitters in town. Why shop anywhere else?
Just win, baby.
I'm sorry, Nathan, but Randy Karraker eventually, he'll get there, and he got you there. 3-2, he beat you in the fight today. Yeah, he I thought maybe using the lifeline, despite the fact that he knew the answer on number 2 was going to come back to bite him, and it almost did, but he was able to leg it out and get number 4, and that's the one that got you.
It's okay. It was an honor to fight, and I appreciate that it kind of took a second because I was like, maybe he won't get to the Astros. He hasn't said Astros. He hasn't said Astros. It's okay.
You're right about that. You both got that one right. Let's go through the questions and answers. Everyone in STL happy to wish Nelson Cruz a happy birthday. He lost the World Series in 2011 to the Cardinals, and he also lost in 2010 to the Giants as they would kick off their even year. I call it a curse. I'm sure they call it his good luck charm.
Oh, and that was the baseball version of Fear the Beard with Brian Wilson, by the way.
That is another good one. Paul George, another big move today. He joined the 76ers on a free agent contract, but it was a trade that was his last big move, and that was when he was traded from the Oklahoma City Thunder. And you are 100% correct, Randy. It was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander that they traded for him. That trade, by the way, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 first-round picks. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has gone on to, again, finish second in MVP voting and be an NBA first-teamer now twice for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Pretty good.
Not a bad trade for the Oklahoma City Thunder in the grand scheme of things. Not great for the Los Angeles Clippers. Have they ever done that in their history? Which Chicago native picked off Bears quarterback Rex Grossman and returned it for a touchdown in the Colts Super Bowl 41 victory? He was also a rookie that year, his first pick and touchdown. It was Kelvin Hayden who actually picked it off for the Colts, again, the Chicago native, and the only active player in Major League Baseball to lead a league in batting average 3 or more times. It is, in fact, Jose Altuve, all for the Astros in the American League, and the only person in the last 10 years who's also done 3 times. He recently retired, Miguel Cabrera, 4 different times in the American League. So Altuve now holds the record with 3. So a 3-2 win for Randy Karraker in the fight today. Thank you again, Nathan, for joining the fight and joining the show.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rock. And y'all have a good day. And Brooke, I'm really happy for your honeymoon and marriage. And I'm glad Randy doesn't have to give you a countdown anymore.
Yes. Thank you so much, Nathan.
Thank you, Nathan.
It was making me really anxious and nervous, Randy. And I think you enjoyed that.
A little bit.
Somebody said that should have been a clock violation. I can only go through the team so fast.
Oh, people always say that with you. And the timing of it.
Maybe I should start with the American League West all the time.
But the thing is that you're already starting without the options, so you have to think through it. I did not think that you were going to be able to pull out the Altuve answer. I was surprised as you were going through. I was like, oh, well, he hasn't gotten there yet. And then, of course, in Randy's style, you figured it out at the end.
I'm glad that I did.
Mega mind.
Glad that I won.
Yeah.
So somebody on the text line, by the way, says, great shirt, Randy. So thank you. I'm liking this shirt. I'm glad that you're liking
You're
it.
getting a lot of compliments on this shirt.
It's a great shirt.
It is.
You can get one
yeah.
at the Missouri Baptist Hospital gift shop.
That's so random. That's where you got it at?
And my sister gave it to me. She runs the gift shop over there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, birthday present from her. So, cool. I'm glad you like it. So,
Well, now I have
these
to
are
go
popular.
step up my shirt game for this week.
Yes. We need you to be patriotic like me.
Because I was going to just do the blue and then red tomorrow and then maybe white. But I feel like after seeing your shirt, you're getting lots of compliments. I need to step up my game.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be American. Coming up here on 101 ESPN as we head down the stretch of this 8 o'clock hour, we're going to talk to Chip Carey. Chip is next on 101 ESPN. Brooke and Randy with you, the opening drive on 101 ESPN. We go to the celebrity line, and your TV voice of the St. Louis Cardinals on Bally Sports, Chip Carey, is with us now after the Cardinals split against Cincinnati over the weekend. Chip, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
Good, and an early happy 4th of July for you.
Yeah, Independence Day is right around the corner. We get to spend it in 2 cities, which is going to be kind of fun. We start in Pittsburgh, finish in D.C., and maybe we'll get to see the fireworks at the Washington Monument before sun goes down. That'd be fun.
I was going to say, you have to be able to see the fireworks somewhere.
Yeah, I hope so. My favorite trip all time was when I was first starting out in the business. I was with the Braves, and we flew from east to west, had a late afternoon game, and then as we flew west, the sun was going down, so we got to see all the fireworks shows across the country on a clear night from above. That was pretty cool. It was like summer flowers blooming all across the prairies. And that was kind of cool. I don't think we'll get to Washington in time for that. We'll have to wait for the sun to go down, but it should be a fun trip and an important one for the Cardinals coming up for sure.
We were talking about this earlier. It's expected that Lars Nootbaar will be rejoining the team soon once he gets settled back down in the minors, and then Tommy Edman maybe as well. How do you think that the Cardinals will handle that situation moving forward, especially with how well Donovan, Siani, and Burleson have been doing?
I think very happily. I think it's obvious that those two guys are an important and integral part of the ball club. They haven't been here much of the year. Certainly in the case of Tommy, he hasn't had a single game with the Cardinals in regular season play. Newt's missed about a quarter of the season, if not more than that. Those are two really important pieces. They're two really good players who add another element of dynamism to an offense that at times has played in fits and starts. And look, it's not up to me to determine how they make some changes or if they make changes, but usually as it happens in our sport, those things tend to work themselves out. And right now, with the importance of these games right before the break, a divisional series with the Pirates certainly and the Cubs right before the break, if you hit, you're going to play. And the Cardinals offense, as we saw against Cincinnati, was dog-tired. And that they split was really, really impressive and had a great homestand. And when those new guys come back, they'll certainly provide a much-needed jolt, I think.
Chip, how about Michael Siani hitting .344 over the last couple of weeks with a .957 OPS?
Yeah, he's really been an impressive player. I shudder to think where the Cardinals would have been without him. My old partner in Atlanta, Joe Simpson, played with the Dodgers, and their system always believed if a guy had athleticism and had 4 of the 5 tools in the baseball toolkit, they could teach him how to hit. And I think we're seeing that with Siani. His swing is looking a lot better. It's a lot flatter. Yeah, he strikes out every now and then. But when he puts the ball in play, he is a threat because his speed puts so much pressure on opposing defenses. So that's just icing on top of the cake. The guy's been a godsend defensively. The Cardinals had one of the worst defensive outfields in the major leagues last year. They've had one of the best this year. So Siani's really done an amazing job, and it's fun to watch him do his thing.
How do you think the Cardinals are going to handle this 5th spot in the starting rotation? Obviously, right now it seems like we're doing an audition process with Andre Pallante and Matthew Liberatore. How do you think that they will handle it moving forward?
I'm guessing for now it's Pallante's job. Liberatore's start was a spot start. It was an impressive one, that's to be sure. But yeah, that's obviously the elephant in the room. Who's going to claim that spot and run with it and take it over? And out of that position, Ollie has said, look, we want consistency. We can't go into every 5th day not knowing if we're getting 5 innings, 6 innings, or 2 innings out of that spot. And I think Pallante, by and large, has done a pretty solid job of giving the Cardinals 5 innings, and then anything else on top of that is gravy. Liberatore was spectacular against the Braves. He's done that before. He did it against Tampa Bay last year. The stuff is in there. He's still a very young man, as is Pallante. And it's always good to have a healthy competition between those two. But my guess is, with the body of work, that Pallante is going to be the guy going forward. But that's just a guess.
Of course, the Cardinals have been one of the great stories in baseball right now, especially in the National League, with the way that they rebounded after starting off 15-24, the way that they've looked here recently. Now going into July, what does this team do specifically well that makes you believe that they could be playoff contenders?
They pitch. I think I've said to you guys before, I think we overcomplicate the game. If you pitch, you have a chance to win. If you don't, you don't. Look, just compare the pitching staffs of the 2023 Cardinals to the one that we're watching in 2024. The game's over usually when you have the lead after 6. The starters have been consistent enough to give you a chance for your offense to get some things done. Look, we'd like to see Arenado and Goldschmidt pick up the slack. And we're halfway through the season now. It's time to go for them. The young guys offensively have really done an amazing job of taking that torch and carrying it forward themselves. And you mentioned Brendan Donovan, Alec Burleson, Mason Wynn, Herrera, Pajes. Those guys have really carried this team and deserve a lot more credit, I think, than they're getting for what's happened so far in 2024. And then I think they've put themselves in a position where Mo in the front office will add to the team. And I said this on the broadcast yesterday, that the 2 weeks before the All-Star break and the week after is really an important time for every professional sports team. There are teams that are so dreading the rest of the season that they just want to get the first half over with. This is an opportunity for the Cardinals to really put the hammer down against Pittsburgh and Washington Washington, two teams that are going to give you some fight. Kansas City, which is having a great year, and the Cubs right before the All-Star break. And then you go to Atlanta and Pittsburgh right after. If you can have a solid 3-week run, that really sets you up great for the trade deadline and what we hope will be a playoff run for the Cardinals in 2024. And that starts again tomorrow night.
Chip Carey with us on 101 ESPN. What were your impressions of Gordon Graceffo on Saturday?
Really impressive. The moment wasn't too big for him. He showed a nice 3-pitch mix. He got the ball on the ground. He worked at a nice pace. His mom and dad were overjoyed watching him do his thing, which is always fun. He showed strikeout stuff. He pitched like you hoped that a guy like him would pitch like when he came up from the minor leagues. The Cardinals bullpen was running on fumes. They really, really needed him to step up and give innings, and he did just that. He finished the game started by Sonny Gray, and that rested the guys, and I think you saw how well that reflected in yesterday's game when Kittredge, Romero, and Helsley came in and put out the fire in a 2-0 win. So little victories like that individually and collectively really add up over the course of the long year, and we've had a bunch of them, so I was really happy for Gordon, and I know he'll be back here at some point this year.
You just mentioned Kittredge, Romero, and Helsley, and we're a nickname show. We're really big on the nicknames here. We were actually talking about this earlier. We need a really good nickname for that trio. Can you help us, please?
I like the Terminators. Because they come in the game's over by and large, especially Helsley is on this impressive 30-for-30 run. Romero's been great in whatever role he's been assigned. Kittredge, at least in recent days, he'll give up a hit here and there, give up a walk, like the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Some of the pieces fly off the body, but you can't destroy him. But these three guys have been great and fun to watch, and that's a great security blanket that Ollie didn't have last year. And I think our manager is showing he can run a game, he can run a bullpen. You give him the toys, he'll know how to play with them, and he's done that very, very well this year because the guys he trusts with those high leverage situations have come through for him.
Couple of other things for Chip Carey. Number one, we remember that 85 season. The Cardinals did not lose a game that they led after 8 innings until Game 6 of the World Series with the Denkinger call. This year's team is now 39-0 when they lead after 8 innings. I was watching Matt Vasgersian and Yonder Alonso last night on MLB Tonight, MLB Network, and Matt brought up the idea of Ryan Helsley for Cy Young. I hadn't really considered that, but why not?
Yeah, it depends on, which starter in the league's having an awesome season, who's having that standout year. But, you can make the case. The Cardinals would not be where they are without Ryan Helsley being, available. He's available because the role has been much more clearly defined for him, and he's comfortable with it, and he's embraced it, which means he's more available to pitch. And he can prepare better for what he knows is going to be the last inning of the game. That's really important. The game is managed from the 9th inning forward. You figure, okay, I've got Helsley for the 9th today. Romero's down, so it's got to be Kittredge and then Fernandez, and then you figure out what your starter is going to do, and you try to figure out where you get 3 or 4 or 5 outs in the middle of the innings, or the middle of the ball game, I should say. But Ryan's done a great job. Really, really happy for him. He's done super work, and thanks for putting 39 for 39 out in the universe, Randy, because that means you're just
You just jinxed everybody. Hey, one last thing. Pretty much everybody that's a baseball fan in St. Louis has gone to Wrigley. But in talking to broadcasters, they say the 2 best places are Pittsburgh and San Francisco to watch a game. Tell Cardinal fans why they need to get to PNC Park.
It's beautiful. The view is spectacular. They've finally finished the repairs on the Clemente Bridge, and just the golden bridges crossing the I guess it's the Allegheny River as you look across to see the skyline of Pittsburgh. Downtown Pittsburgh is much improved. They've really done a wonderful job of shops and restaurants and things to do, and it's a vibrant young scene. Beautiful scenery, great place to exercise and go walk and pass time along the river with all the wildlife and the like. The only negative of PNC Park from a broadcaster standpoint is you need to stuff cotton in your nose because you're way up high on the roof. It's the players look like tiny little ants, but it does give you a beautiful view of a great city and a place that's very, very proud of their baseball heritage. So it's always a treat to go there, even though we are going to probably have the inevitable rain delay at least once.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We will be tuned in tomorrow night and then Wednesday and then Thursday, 4th of July at 11:30 St. Louis game, so you guys can get to the nation's capital. Chip, have a great trip. Have a happy 4th of July, and we'll talk to you soon.
Happy Independence Day, guys. I will see you soon. Thanks again.
Thank you. Take care. That's our buddy Chip Carey. He is the TV voice of the Cardinals on Bally Sports. Always fun to talk to him.
I have not been to PNC Park, but I've seen so many beautiful photos of it. Have you been?
A lot of yellow, yeah.
That's That makes sense. Is there a favorite park that you've been to?
For me, it's Oracle Park in San Francisco. That's my favorite. You walk in there and you smell those garlic fries frying.
Yeah.
Delicious. Yeah. But Wrigley is fun I wouldn't want to go to 20 games at Wrigley, but Wrigley is cool for a weekend. Fenway is cool for a weekend, but you got to remember these parks were built in 1912, 1914, and people were so much smaller then. For somebody who's 6'2", it's not very comfortable.
The first time that I went to Wrigley, I was like, wow, people were smaller back then, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like, what did they do seeing like I don't know, what do you think was like a crazy height back then? 6'4" was like monster?
6'4", yeah, probably, yeah.
Well, this is the example that Randy always uses about Jim Brown being bigger than the guards. I mean, if Jim Brown was 6'2", 230, and people were like, "This is the biggest person we've ever seen."
Yeah, right.
He's a monster. Where did he come from? I do like the press area at Wrigley. That's pretty cool, especially when they open up the windows. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. Coming up, we've got the Rush Hour Reset here on the Opening Drive on 101 ESPN.
Recapping the biggest sports stories of the day on the Opening Drive with a Rush Hour Reset.
9:08 in St. Louis. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. The Cardinals are off today before starting a 3-game series in Pittsburgh tomorrow, a 5:40 start St. Louis time. 5:40 tonight, tomorrow night, and then 11:35 in the morning on Thursday before the Cardinals head to the nation's capital for a 4-game series. And the Cardinals split with Cincinnati over the weekend. You'd like to take 3 or 4 from Cincinnati, but they got hammered in a couple of games, and that's going to happen with the 2024 Cardinals. It's just kind of who they are.
Yeah, you would like to see them take care of business, but the fact that you came away from the homestand 7-3, I think that's huge in itself, and it speaks a lot to the progression that we've continued to see for the Cardinals. Now, can they continue it in July and take care of business against a lot of the other teams that you face? So you have, I believe they will face the Pirates, Nationals, and Royals next. That's what you said. And I'm looking at the Brewers right now, the Cardinals are 6.5 games back of the division lead, which the Brewers somehow still have. And the Brewers have the Rockies, Dodgers, and Pirates. So
Brewers are pretty darn good, though.
I know. I still can't figure out how they're able to pull this off currently.
Yeah, but they lead the division by 6.5, and the Cardinals now in the third wild card spot, too. The Padres, with all of their injuries, are just playing great under Mike Shilton. It's so classic Shilty, right? To have his team, doesn't matter who's playing, they're playing good, clean baseball, and they're going to be in the playoffs, even though they're missing Joe Musgrove. They're missing Yu Darvish. They've missed Machado. They've missed Tatis for a lot of time this year. Even though they're missing their main guys, they're still performing at a really good level.
And turning it back to the Cardinals, I think that's one of the big things with the success that they've had is they've had a lot of other injuries, with Lars Newbar being out, with Tommy Edman being out, Jordan Walker not being here, being a factor even in the discussion of what they're able to do. Wilson Contreras injured during the majority of their comeback after that 15-24 start to the season. The fact that they were able to pull this off, you have to give a lot of credit, one, to what the starting rotation has been able to provide, but also the baby birds and what they've been able to do. The fact that they have been able to step up in this position and really take things over, it's the passing of the torch that we're talking about. You need Goldie and Arenado to step up, of course, so we're not giving up a pass in any way, but the fact that these guys are really becoming the story here, I think that's the biggest takeaway from the first half of the season for me.
What do you think they need? What do you think they could be? That's not the question. I don't think they need I think they've shown they don't need Arenado and Goldschmidt to be great, to be a good team. To be a great team, they need those guys to step up. But I think they are what they are. And I think they can be a playoff team with those guys continuing to do what they're doing, which is not an awful lot.
Yeah, and I think Helsley is a big part of the story as well. 30th consecutive saves. He's on pace for, I believe I had this earlier, 59 saves for this season?
That's the pace, yep.
Yeah. The fact that he's been able to pull this off as well, I think that shows the progression that you've seen from Helsley from last year and giving him that role. You know, they went into the season and said, you're the closer. We didn't know how exactly that was going to play out, but I think giving guys defined roles really pays off.
Basketball, a big morning for the Philadelphia 76ers. They have spent $416 million on players this morning. Woo. They give Paul George a 4-year, $212 million deal, and then Tyrese Maxey signs a 4-year, $204 million extension. So those two will combine with Joel Embiid to lose to the Celtics next year in the conference finals.
Why would you say that, Randy?
Well,
they're spending all this money. It means something, right?
Yeah, well.
Doesn't that guarantee championships?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Those teams that spend a lot of money, like this year's Golden State Warriors and the Lakers. Yeah, they spent all that money. And, they're going to be.
It worked out for them, didn't it?
It is, yeah. How about, by the way, LeBron, being the friendly, nice guy that he is, telling the Lakers, look, I will sign for less if you go out and sign another big-time player. And he's given them a list of players that they can go get, and then he would sign for less than the max. But if they don't go get that player, then he wants the max.
I mean, when you have all the power, you get to call the shots, huh?
Yeah, and Chris Paul is on his way to San Antonio. The Warriors waived Chris Paul yesterday, and he's going to play with Wemby for next season. Not postseason, because he doesn't do that, but he'll be there for the regular season.
Randy's just taking shots at everybody this morning.
Shots fired.
NBA. Yeah.
So one other note, by the way, baseball note, and we kind of talked last week about the Juan Soto trade between San Diego and Washington a couple of years ago. James Wood, the number 3 prospect in baseball, expected to make his major league debut tonight against the Mets. He's been called up by Washington, and the Cardinals presumably will see him this weekend. And Nolan Gorman and Dylan Carlson, who Washington wanted, if the Cardinals were going to get Juan Soto, apparently will play a little bit against those guys.
A little bit. But we discussed it earlier. I'm very interested to see that when Lars Nootbaar comes back, because he'll be coming back first in the situation with Edman and Newt, I'm interested to see if they would send Gorman down just so that he can get a little bit more confident, maybe get back to himself in the minors.
I would think that would be a good idea on their part. Smart.
Yeah.
By the Cardinals. That's Brooke. I'm Randy, and that is today's Rush Hour Reset. Coming up, Mizzou's NIL program is going great, and we're going to talk to Ken Dubinsky from Every True Tiger next on 101 ESPN. your dessert for the 4th of July weekend. It's Snacking with the Crew cookies with Mizzou players on the cover. And our friend Ken Dubinsky of Haystack Sourcing joins us here on 101 ESPN. He's promoting these fantastic cookies. And Brooke is actually going to try them on the air to give you a review right now. Ken, good to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you guys having me on. I'm very nervous now
we'll start with
the taste test.
So if you want to start with, you have 2 boxes, which the boxes look great, by the way, because they feature Mizzou football players. I know I see Luther Burden, Brady Cook on there. Norfleet is on there as well. And so there's 2 different boxes. And so I have a mini, is this cookies and cream?
Yeah, chocolate cream.
And then oatmeal raisin.
Correct.
With the good raisins.
Yes.
Okay. So I will start with, and believe me, I am a sweets connoisseur. So I will give you a real review right here.
Well, we've gotten a good response so far, so I certainly hope it continues here.
It's kind of rude. Well, this is ASMR. I was going to say it's kind of rude for me crunching on air, but the kids these days like ASMR. So
what's that?
Don't ask me what it stands for, but it's kind of, you know what I'm talking about,
Rocky.
Rocky.
To be really hip, though.
Where it's about the sounds, like people like sounds of things. There's YouTube channels.
Yeah, I can explain ASMR, but I'll just give you the dictionary definition. It's autonomous sensory meridian response. So essentially, it's weird, it's just like weird noises that kind of like make you happy. It's like people like hearing certain noises.
Okay, so we've got oatmeal raisin cookies, and we've got bite-sized chocolate cream cookies that feature Mizzou players on the cover. And by the way, you put the 2 boxes together, and there you've got the Cotton Bowl trophy, which is very cool. How does this work in terms of, the cookies are produced, they are packaged, they are sold at Schnucks, and then how does it work that all of this winds up, all the proceeds from these winds up in the hands of players?
Yeah, so this has been really a fun one. We're trying to do some unique things with it. Like you said, we got the 2 boxes that are on the shelf next to each other kind of combined to form one cohesive pattern. We've got 7 top players on. And to answer your question, we build money into the cost model, basically, to be able to compensate the players for their NIL. And then, we're still at a good value at the store, still significantly less than most branded items. And again, it's a great opportunity for Tiger fans and other fans to support Mizzou.
And taking care of offensive linemen, by the way, which is pretty cool. That's important.
They can probably eat their share of cookies, too.
I would think so. But you got Membu, you've got Caden Green, who is the transfer from Oklahoma, Connor Tollison, and then the tight end Brett Norfleet on the cover of one. And then Brady Cook, Mookie Cooper, and Luther Burden, all local guys, by the way.
All local guys,
on the 2 boxes.
Yeah, all 7 are Missouri, state of Missouri players, all coming back this year. We actually added, as you mentioned earlier, Caden Green, who's a transfer from Oklahoma, is going to have a real impact this year. So we say more to come in 24. And it was such a magical season. And we wanted to, again, I want to give Jason Reed credit, the Schnucks category manager. He had the idea to do the commemorative item and we wanted it to be a keepsake too. So we made the boxes such that hopefully fans will keep them on their mantle and remind them of a great season and not to sell this one short because we're hoping for even bigger things in 24.
They are delicious, by the way. I have demolished the cookies that you handed over to me. I think that's the best way to describe what I just did with those cookies.
Good.
And they're fantastic. Would be really good with some ice cream, maybe even some Andy's ice cream. Look, I'm doing some cross promotion over here.
Or some Mizzou Tiger Tracks ice cream. How about
there
that?
we go.
How's that for a nice sell?
Yeah, very nice sell. And also, you brought in my favorite chips. These are the Luther Burden chips that you have, and I love the flavor of them. Honey Barbecue Ranch. It's just so great to see the support that you guys have done for local athletes, and Luther Burden seeing his progression and growth with NIL, I think, is such a great story. One thing I wanted to ask you about is how have you seen NIL positively impact the lives of players?
It really has. It's really just a whole different angle for something that is only really today is actually the 3rd anniversary of NIL being a thing.
Wow.
July 1st of 21. And let me make sure I did my math right. Yes.
That's 3.
But it really has. So kids, college kids, previous to that could never make money. I mean, they could make the scholarship and that was it. And, Lawrence Bowers tells a story that, he could never go home. He could never have his parents come up and see him play. So it just takes, there's a lot of pressures on a college athlete, college student in general, but also a college athlete. And it takes one of those pressures off and lets them do some nice things. And again, depending on the level, and certainly some are making more than others. But I think it definitely is something that, for them and their families, in some cases, it's life-changing.
This is a competitive marketplace because even though it's not supposed to be a competitive marketplace, a kid is supposed to go to school and then benefit from NIL. But the reality of the situation, people know what they're going to get. From a competitive standpoint, do you have any idea how Mizzou is doing relative to the other SEC schools?
I think extremely well. I know extremely well. I know I did see, and again, there's a lot of stuff on the internet, but I did see one table that of all the schools, their NIL value is third in the conference, and that's the new conference with Texas there as well. I think it's Texas, Alabama, Mizzou in terms of NIL funding, and how they got that, I'm not sure. But Mizzou is very dedicated. I think Coach Drink and Coach Gates really dove into it right away, realized what it was, got ahead of it. There's groups like Ms. Lou that I think, I've seen you at some events. That's a fundraising group for St. Louis kids to keep St. Louis kids here, and also the way the Missouri legislature, with the new law that went into place, now the fundraising is done within Tiger Scholarship Fund and the Tiger Fund under that. So it gives a great opportunity for all Tiger fans to donate and really know that they're having a real impact in the recruiting and helping get the right players.
You were talking about just the excitement surrounding this football team right now, which of course just helps Mizzou in general. Talk about the buzz around Mizzou athletics currently.
It's really incredible. I mean, I've been a Mizzou fan my whole life, went to school there growing up and everything. I said this the other day. I think as much as there were great years during the Gary Pinkel years, I think there is more anticipation and excitement for this year than any year I've seen.
I agree.
Part of that might be the fact that the playoff now is 12 teams. Mm-hmm. So whereas I think in those years, I can't remember if it was 2 or 4 teams, but now there's not only a beyond realistic chance that they make the playoff if they do what they're hoping to do. So, and then it's, one and done. All bets are off. So it's a chance to really do things that maybe haven't been done in the past. And again, with college football as a whole is just at such a different level now and excitement.
One other thing for me, this is Ken Dubinsky of Haystack Sourcing, and the new Snackin' with the Crew cookies are out to benefit the NIL program at the University of Missouri, and you can get these cookies at Schnucks. You and I had a chance to play with a couple of the Mizzou assistant basketball coaches a couple of weeks ago, and I was struck. Charlton Young said, hey, we're going to win a championship here in the next 4 years with a top 5 recruiting class, top 10 transfer portal class, and these are people that have been around winning before. They're convinced that they are in the right place and have the right resources to win a championship basketball-wise at Mizzou.
Absolutely. And he's talking about a national championship, and they are focused on that. Dennis said that, Coach Gates, numerous times last year, said, even the first year, when everybody said, boy, what a great success it was, as well, we didn't hit our goal. Our goal is the national championship. So I think they've got the right attitude for that. They've got a tremendous recruiting class and a tremendous transfer class coming in. And I think, obviously, last year was very disappointing and for everybody. But they were close, and I think this year they're going to use that to their benefit. And I think they've got players that probably fit their system really well. And I think they really like the character of the players. We talked about that while we were all together. And I'm excited. Coach Gates is such a great presence and great for the program. And I just think some great things are coming there, and a number of other sports as well, as Brooke said. I mean, for the University of Missouri overall, I mean, you got softball that had a great run into the super regionals. You got gymnastics that had a great run. Wrestling is always one of the top 5 to 10 teams. And that's another thing with the program. I hate to throw another pitch in here, but we got the new pizza at Schnucks, the 4th pizza in the series. We've got a gymnast, a baseball, a softball, and a wrestler on there. So we're
on the
trying
pizza?
On the pizza,
Great.
yeah, that's now available at Schnucks as well. So we're trying to really spread things out and get to some of the Olympic sports as well. And And I do have a scoop for you here.
Okay, I like this.
Oh, yes.
First time. We are going to come out with a 9-ounce Luther Burden chip for the new football
Beautiful.
season. He
Okay.
is, so a family-sized bag that we've been looking at for a while, and he is, as everybody knows, I mean, he is picked as the number one wide receiver in the country. In NFL mock drafts, he is top 5, top 10 in the country in the draft. So he's setting up to have a huge year, and we thought having a huge bag would be fitting for that. So we'll have that when the football season comes around.
Sounds great. And if people want to contribute, it's easy to contribute to Missouri and NIL with the Luther Burden chips, with the Snackin' with the Crew cookies, and Brooke says they're fantastic. She's given them an A+.
I know that you have to try them out too, Randy.
I will.
But they are fantastic.
And the pizza and more to come, right?
Yeah, we've got ice cream, Tiger Tracks ice cream, which has gotten a great response, is in the stores. The cookies, obviously the 2 flavors of Luther's chips, the original honey barbecue red hot riplet and the ranch that you guys just had this morning as well, with the honey barbecue and hot. We've got candies coming out. We've got coffee coming out. So going to we've had a fun run here with this, and just going to keep it rolling.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you stopping by. Have a great Independence Day week, and we're going to have these for dessert on the 4th.
Well, I was going to say breakfast of champions. I'm already starting out with them this morning.
Yeah. Exactly. Good.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Kenny, good to see you. Ken from Haystack Sourcing with us on 101 ESPN. Coming up, the Blues traded Kevin Hayes. What are they going to do with that money? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here for Universal Windows Direct. The heat has arrived and it's only going to get hotter from here. Do not cool off the outside this year. Go call my guys over at Universal Windows Direct. While we're all excited for it to get warmer outside, I know one thing that you're probably not excited for. I know that I'm not excited for it is that upcoming energy bill. That's where Universal Windows comes in handy. Their windows feature super spacer technology, which helps keep the edge of the glass warmer, holds the window seal longer, and makes the windows last up to 5 times longer than other window systems. So your windows from Universal perform better and they last longer. Schedule your free in-home estimate today, and for every 2 windows you buy, get the next 2 for free, plus 0% financing for 60 months. That's 3 years. Restrictions apply. Universal Windows Direct backs it all up with a true lifetime warranty as long as you own the home, and a 20-year warranty to the next home owner. Mention my name and get an additional $250 off your next project. Go to UWD.com. That's UWD.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals off today after a split of their 4-game series against the Reds over the weekend. Also over the weekend, St. Louis City SC faced off against the Vancouver Whitecaps. They jumped out to an early 2-0 lead, but didn't really matter much as they were outscored 4-0 over the next 78 minutes, and they fall for a final score of 4-3. They are now on a 9-straight-game winless streak, and they'll try to snap that on Wednesday when they host the San Jose Earthquakes at City Park. Also this morning in some breaking news, Paul George signs a contract with the 76ers for about $220 million, and they followed that up by re-signing one of their stars, Tyrese Maxey, to a $200 million extension. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
That Matthew Rocchio neglected to provide to you. A 9-ounce bag of Luther Burden chips will soon be available in stores near you.
Wow.
Right now you can only get the 2.5-ounce bag. The 9-ounce bag is coming your way. Yeah, Matthew, why did you leave that out?
Yeah, why did you leave that out? Excuse you.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'll look in the mirror on this one. I'm sorry.
It's a misstep. BK and Ferrari are going to be at Blues Prospect Camp today and tomorrow over the Centene Ice Center. And then we're going to air the Blues Prospect scrimmage on Wednesday. Or no, tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to have the Prospect scrimmage at 6 o'clock here on 101 ESPN. Alex Ferrario and Joey Vitale will bring that to you. And so you'll have an opportunity to hear that. By the way, the Fast Lane and the Riz Show have their annual home run derby coming up. And we think Brooke is going to be involved. We just don't know how. The Riz Show from 105.7 The Point at this year's softball home run derby, taking on the Fast Lane, hosted by the O'Fallon Hoots on July 27th at Carshield Field in O'Fallon. No, a fast pitch home run derby that night featuring Rick Ankiel, Brian Jordan, and more MLB alums. General admission tickets on sale now for just $15. Brought to you by Swiss Air Heating and Cooling, Faster House, and Zwickle Light. Get all the details, Brooke, at 101ESPN.com.
Oh, are you saying to me? Because my question was, what day is it? Because I forgot.
You said I'm involved, but what day is it?
Yeah, I was like, Wait a minute. I forgot when I said I was going to do this. I forgot. CD reached out to me. I was surprised, honestly, that he reached out to me because I added little to no value last year, other than just being there with my presence. And so I don't think that I added much value whatsoever.
You beat Learn, didn't you?
I maybe by just like one home run.
But that's all you have to do. You just they even out the teams away. So all you have to do is you just got to beat Learn, and you are quite literally helping out the team.
I'm gonna just pull the female card. I was not expecting to be hitting from the same area that the guys were, and so I mean there was absolutely no chance I was gonna launch that thing out of there.
Well, you did a good job. All right, so the Blues traded Kevin Hayes. Blues have not done this historically. One of the things they do in the NHL is that they'll make a trade for cap space. So you give a player who has a bigger salary and you give a pick to a team. The Blues gave a second-round pick to Pittsburgh, essentially to take on Kevin Hayes' salary. Now, Kevin Hayes, he's been a decent player in the past. He did not fit what the Blues wanted. He's slow. And he just wasn't what the Blues needed at that point. So they did free up $3.5 million in cap space. The question now becomes, with the Blues having cap space available, what do they do with it in free agency here? I have no idea what they do with it, actually.
No, I'm very interested to see, because I keep seeing conflicting reports on really how the Blues are approaching free agency. Of course, the talks will continue with Pavel Buchnevich. Will we have an answer with that today? I want to know what Buchnevich is looking for. Would you do maybe 5 years, 8 AAV?
I would do that. Yeah. If I could get him for 5 years.
Buchnevich would do that?
I wonder. Now, when he gets into free agency, I don't know that he's going to do much better than that. Maybe somebody will go 6. I would be really surprised if somebody would sign him through his age 38 season.
I couldn't see that. And so I'm very curious. Maybe that frees up some space with that whole situation with Pavel Buchnevich. But I don't really know where they go other than that now that they have freed up some extra space. Stamkos, you brought him up, but I think he'd be out of that price range if you were also adding Buchnevich.
I don't think that you can have both Buchnevich and Stamkos on your team. I think you'd have to find a way to move Pavel Buchnevich this coming season. The other part of it is, as JR told us on Friday, he'd heard that the Blues had asked both Krug and Falk to consider waiving their no-trade clauses. And I think that's the biggest thing the Blues need to do. They need to add, sure, but before they add, they have to subtract, because you've got $6.5 million a year invested in Krug, Falk, Parayko, and then another hefty sum invested in Nick Leddy. One of those players will have to go if the Blues want to get what they need defensively.
And of course, you always have to look at the different trade rumors, but I feel like Elliot Friedman carries pretty good weight when it comes to trade rumors. So he doesn't just put things out there without having some sort of information. And he put out recently in his article, a few teams say that St. Louis is sending signals that they are going to try some free agent swings.
So maybe, I don't know what that could be. I can't imagine that Steven Stamkos would fit the mold. You mentioned this earlier, Brooke. All that Armstrong has talked about is the 25 to 28-year-old player, the player in his prime. I know a lot of people have brought up the idea of an offer sheet, and perhaps somebody would be willing to sign here, and maybe the Blues could catch a team where they didn't have the cap room to keep somebody. I could see an offer sheet. I would actually be kind of stunned if they, pleasantly stunned, mind you, if they could pull off a deal with a guy like Stamkos. If I'm Stamkos, I don't want to go to a team that didn't make the playoffs last year. I'm in it to win it again. He's already signed and worked for less money with Tampa than he could have gotten on the free agent market, because A, he wanted to win, and B, he was loyal to the Lightning and liked the idea of not having the sales tax, the income tax in Florida. I would think that he would, at his age, and by the way, he scored 40 goals last year, he would want to go to a place, I would think, that had a better chance, at least outwardly, to win a cup than the Blues do.
I could see that, and I just think that I can't see it working out. It seems like, just reading the different stories and with what others are reporting who are close to the situation, that they are going to work out some sort of deal with Pavel Buchnevich. I just still think that there's some questions surrounding defensively what Doug Armstrong can do to really switch things around. The Torrey Krug and Justin Falk situation is very interesting. Are you able to move those guys? But at the same time, I wonder with Claude Julien and bringing him in, one, you need that veteran presence and that experience on your coaching bench side of things. But do you also think it's a way of he has that familiarity with Torrey Krug that maybe he could get the most out of Torrey Krug?
Krug's best years were under Julien. Now, Krug was a lot younger,
of course,
at that point.
Yeah.
So I don't know if age plays a role in the decline of his play. But I just don't think that with the way teams are winning generally, and that's with big, rugged defensemen, I don't think the Blues can win with the group they have. If you don't have that 6'3", 6'4", 210, 220-pound defenseman to play a key role, I don't think you can win these days. And the Blues have Parayko to be that guy. But we're talking about a guy on the back end who has a little nasty, who has some sandpaper to his game. And Parayko's not that guy. I think they need that guy. And I just don't think he's on the roster right now, at least from an established veteran presence.
I saw some trade rumor where they were saying they would move Colton Parayko. And I read that to you yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Or not yesterday.
I think it was yesterday. It was over the weekend.
It was over the weekend. I sent that over at some point. I was like, why in the world would they move Colton Parayko?
No, he's the fulcrum of their defense. They need to have him, but then they need another guy. If they were convinced that Joel Edmondson was healthy, I think that'd be a nice signing for the Blues. Mm-hmm. And by the way, he's working out with Braden Chen in Vancouver. I know he's very good friends with Alexander Steen, so maybe they go that direction. But I think getting that big, rugged guy, the long stick, the long arms, is important for the Blues.
And Justin Falk, the injury setbacks that he had last year, that's something that concerns me.
And I wonder if the Blues would move a guy like that, or Krug, if they would have to retain salary. I can't imagine that they wouldn't, because all due respect to those guys, they've been really good players in the past, really good. But I don't think they're $6.5 million players now.
No.
I was just a little disappointed because when I saw the fact they were trading a second-round pick for cap relief, I was like, all right, somebody bid on Krug or Falk. This is fantastic.
And then it's Kevin Hayes.
And then it was Kevin Hayes. I was like, I mean, it's the same. Well, not what I wanted. Because I thought, kind of in the same vein as the buyouts, I think that Doug Armstrong has really avoided trading draft picks to get rid of salary cap, like in dead bad cap numbers. So he finally bit the bullet on that one, which tells me he will not be doing a buyout because he's not going to bite the bullet on both of those in the same offseason. No way in hell. Mm-mm. But I'm just a little disappointed that it ended up being Hayes because it felt like even a worst case scenario, you could give him 10 minutes on the ice and it wouldn't necessarily hurt the team, whereas opposed to the blue line, you're literally hitting a point where it's like the 6 guys you have are not the best 6 guys you have, but you have to play them, so we got to figure this out.
Right. And up front, by the way, and I had this issue with the Blues last year, and they can make changes. There's a long time to go before the opener. But they got Teixeira, I guess it's pronounced Teixeira, the center that they acquired over the weekend. If your third line is him, Bolduc, and Toropchenko, to me that looks like a fourth line. I still don't think the Blues have a third line. Now, am I good with, right now, Thomas, Kyrou, Shen on your first line, Buchnevich at center with Neighbors and Saad as my second line? Yeah, I'm okay with that. But then Teixeira, Bolduc, Toropchenko as my third, and then you have to wait. I'm
okay with that as a third line.
To me, that feels like a fourth line.
I mean, you got a young, hopefully, you got a young centerman who's supposed to be a top 6 guy, moving up in Bolduc. That's it. Toropchenko, I think, has proven that while he's a very good fourth liner, but he can be an average to above average third liner, I think, and he's playing better. And I think to share the way that Armstrong talks about it, and we can actually play the clip here from Teixeira Armstrong talking about Teixeira. It sounds like they're positive about his upside to the point where him being a third liner in the same way as Bolduc as a guy who has potential top 6 skill, doesn't seem like it's the worst thing to have him be a third liner.
He feels like a young Noel Achari to me.
Oh, okay. That doesn't sound like a bad third liner.
And then you said Bolduc is another factor in this situation. And then Dvorsky, do we see him at some point this season?
He's got a chance. I'm not taking him for granted that he's going to be here.
Yeah.
You've got Dean, you've got Nadub, You've got Alexandrov. Do you have any idea, Matthew, how the knee of Oscar Sundqvist is?
Good.
Sundqvist.
So is he going to be ready for the season?
Yeah, he's feeling good.
Okay, good.
Insider scoop right here on the opening. This is where you come for the
Flash
scoops.
apparently official.
we did break 2 stories today.
Yeah.
That with Oscar Sundqvist and then the 9-ounce bag.
And by the way, another bulletin, apparently official. This from the official Blues PA man, Tom Calhoun.
Okay.
Texiat.
Texiat, really?
Texiat, yeah.
Okay, sure.
I didn't,
You said okay, sure.
Because, yeah, sure. There's an R in there and not a T, but...
Texiat. Texiat. So, Texiat. So,
God bless it. Where's he from?
Yeah.
I gotta find this out now.
He's from New York, right?
He is.
The old, the old Yankee first baseman's son, Mark Texiat.
Okay, yeah. Okay, he's French. I was like, how are we getting a T? How are we getting Texiat from Texier? And I knew it had to be somebody French.
We're so American now.
How do they turn an R into a T?
I have no idea.
This is America.
Because I feel like they turn T's into just like open-ended, like,
Yeah.
So like,
come on, France.
I'm bad at other languages.
Or French Canada.
France. French Canada.
What was it again?
French Canada.
No, I'm saying, how do you say the guy's name?
Oh, Texiat.
Texiat?
Yeah, I'm going to go Texiat because of Mark Teixeira.
I don't like that one bit.
We'll just say, well, no.
Texiat. Well,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we will at some point. Because we'll come up with our own pronunciation if we need to. Coming up, we've got rock and roll here on 101 ESPN. Hey, do you want to improve your business? A great way to do it is through good social media, quality digital, and being able to get your company at the front page of a search engine. You can do all of that with 2060 Digital. 2060 Digital is a sister company of 101 ESPN, backed by a 100-year-old media empire. And when you get in touch with 2060 Digital, at 101ESPN.com/2060Digital, they have a great plan for you. They know when to post on social media, what to post on social media, how to use pictures on social media. They also do a fantastic job of weaponizing your website so that you can use it to gain more customers. And very important these days, when you search something in a search engine, you want to be on that very first page of when the search results come up. 2060 Digital can help you do that. It's an amazing company with great people working right here in this building. To learn more and get a complimentary digital audit today, go to 101ESPN.com/2060Digital.
Let's rock. Let's rock today.
Okay, so our buddy Tom Calhoun is listening and driving and being responsible.
We appreciate that.
We do. Thanks for listening, Tom, and thanks for helping us out with the pronunciation of the new guy for the Blues. So
we're really struggling.
I'm just
here
gonna I'm gonna run down the and Tom won't be offended by this because it's autocorrect.
It is.
So it started with Texeat, Texeat, then A. So I figured Texea, and then Texat, and then A, and then driving, and then at, and then A, and then autocorrect kept changing it to T. I meant to text a Y. Texeat. A, not at. Sorry, Randy. Texia. Texia is the new guy.
So that's where we're landing with this.
Texia. Yeah,
Texia.
Thank you, Thomas.
We've all been there before, where you're driving and trying to text or send a voice text, and it always corrects as something weird, and then it goes ahead and sends it, and then you're like, no, don't do that, and then it sends that. The other day, I don't think you guys noticed this in the group chat. Speaking of voice to text, I actually was in the group chat texting you guys, but then I stopped because a song that I really liked was playing on the radio. So I started singing it, but then it sent it to you guys. And I was in the car with David, and I was like, oh, no. And I quickly deleted it. So I don't think you guys ever saw it.
No, we never did. What song was it? Do you remember?
It's this new Chapel Rowan song. She's from Missouri, actually, and it's called Pink Pony Club. So I was singing that, and it spelled it out in the voice text.
You should send those.
No.
When I found out that
it's bad singing.
When I found out they're from Missouri, I was like, oh, how about that?
Yeah.
We really know how to repress them and then churn them out.
Oh, it's a great song.
So if
tell me I'm wrong.
You go to the free zoo in St. Louis over the course of the next couple days and go to Big Cat Country and start yelling at one of the particular cats and it doesn't turn its head, it might be a deaf leopard.
Oh.
You know what, Randy? You went into the lab and you worked on that joke construction after last week.
I did.
And you came out with a better joke. And you know what? Nicely done.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I feel sorry for Greg Warren for the phone call you unfortunately probably got to help you there. But
yeah, right. And 101 ESPN is your chance to score a pair of tickets to see the other Def Leppard along with Journey with Cheap Trick This Saturday, July 6th at Busch Stadium. Tickets for Def Leppard, Journey, and Cheap Trick at Busch are on sale now. You can get all the concert details at 101ESPN.com. But you can text in right now to 314-399-9646. 314-399-9646. 314-399-YO-HO for your chance to win free tickets to the show. And Matthew, do you have a question?
I do. It's a good one, too. I really should have saved this one for the fight, but I just thought of it, and it's really good.
Let's see if we can answer
I'm going to
it.
use it anyway. Okay, since the year 2000, there is an NL club that has had 8 different players win the batting title. What club is that? Since the year 2000, one National League club has had 8 different players win the NL batting title. Which team is it?
Did they have
it's fun, but it's easy if you think about it, but it's also a fun one.
Did they have the National League batting champion last year?
I'm not giving you any clues.
This is for the people,
I'm not
Randy.
giving you any clues.
What else do we have in rock and roll? By the way, the cookies, the Mizzou cookies, are absolutely delicious. Brooke, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are we going here?
Ooh, that's tough because
9?
The answer is no,
there's a
by
lot
the
of
way.
different.
To
What
your,
did you say?
to your clue searching question, the answer is no.
I give them a 8.9.
Good deal. They're really good.
They're good. I like them.
I love the little mini ones because
I'm
it makes me
rolling with
feel like I'm kind of healthy, because they're small.
They are low carb.
Right? Even if I eat 20 of them.
We don't really have time for anything from rock and roll. We got to give away these tickets and then get out of here.
Okay, it's almost 10
Okay,
o'clock.
fine.
We need some correct answers from the people right now because so far right now we're getting some texts in and no one has guessed correctly so far. Which I'm honestly shocked about. Randy was thinking that the guess would have been the Miami Marlins, I guess. But Randy, by my count right now, working really quickly, I'm counting only 1, 2, 3. I'm counting only 3 different Marlins to have won the National League batting title since 2000. Luis Ariz last year, D. Strange Gordon in 2015, and Hanley Ramirez in 2009. Those are the only Marlins since 2000 to win a batting title.
Oh, okay.
We actually do now finally have the correct answer, so we're going to say one of them is our winner, and I'm going to tell everyone it's the Colorado Rockies. They have had 8 different players: Todd Helton, Larry Walker, Matt Holliday, Carlos Gonzalez, Michael Kadire, Justin Morneau, DJ LeMahieu, and Charlie Blackmon have all won the NL batting title while playing for the Colorado Rockies since 2000.
That makes a tremendous amount of sense.
Doesn't it, though?
Yep. Do we have a balloon party with T-Mac and Ajax coming up?
Yes.
I figured if ever there was a week T-Mac was going to take off, this would be it.
Yes.
I'm just saying, doesn't this make sense?
Yeah.
It kind of does. But they'll be here, and then we have BK and Ferrario. They're over at the Centene Ice Center for the Blues Prospect Camp, and then the Fast Lane coming your way from 2 until 6 tonight. Great job today by our producer, audio video engineer, the one, the only Matthew Rocchio. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure.
Brooke, did you have fun today?
Yes.
And Brooke is holding up the 2 set boxes of cookies.
You can see the Cotton Bowl trophy.
Yeah, M-I-Z.
You.
Here we go. We thank you for tuning in, texting in, and being a part of a show. For all of us, until tomorrow morning at 7, have a great Monday, St. Louis.